Frankie.
Frank, you're trying to avoid the question. And to be clear, here's one tweet, PK.
Okay, let's
On February 15th, 2022.
Yep.
PK Subban just fell on his ass like Fred Flintstone. Do you remember that play, Frank?
Yes, I do.
What happened that play?
I think he got like trying to make a save going backwards, and he just like his legs just like were moving and they didn't do anything.
What's another one?
April 18th, 2021. I told you the Nets will all get hurt. I'm cursed. Mets gonna lose 90. Dolphins 7-10. Devils fucked forever by PK Ishira. Another one.
Let's hear it.
PK Subban sucks. 10-15-21. Francisco Lindor, 5-2-21. Francisco Lindor is the baseball version of PK Subban. Total fucking bust. 5/20/2022. PK is going to be a good announcer.
Oh, okay.
Wait a second. And you know what? I've always loved the commissioner. I loved him, okay? I used to have a love-hate with David Stern. I loved the commissioner. The bottom line is this was the worst idea in the history of mankind, okay? How can you have an in-season tournament for nothing? Okay, let's go this way. For nothing. It was for nothing. There was you got a trophy and a check, okay? It was like having a camp production, okay? It was worthless. And then you have a league where you have a kid who saves up his dimes and nickels, or his father saves up, maybe he has a regular job, and going to an NBA game is not cheap.
No,
in Boston, in New York, in any of these places. It's almost a half a week's salary for some of these people to take a couple of kids to the game. And then you find out 10 minutes before the game that LeBron James and AD aren't playing, or you have a game that they ballyhoo for 2 weeks. Philadelphia at Denver, Jokic against Embiid. 10 minutes before the game, Embiid's not playing. Oh, and Maxi's not playing. And this, hey, in the NBA, you never know who is going to play.
Load management really is a load.
It is the worst thing. It has completely, and I'm an NBA guy. I love the NBA. It has completely devalued and destroyed the NBA regular season. The NBA regular season is junk. I like the playoffs because they all play, and you know what they're playing for. Yeah. But that in-season tournament shows you that they have a league that is devoid of any value in the regular season. How can you have a tournament inside your season?
If you could only play for one, if you were an athlete and you could play on one team on any sport in history, what team? In what year? Like which team are you being a part of?
The 1986 Mets, because maybe 72 Dolphins as second choice, but 1986 Mets would probably be the most fun team, because that team basically before the season starts, their motto was, "We're coming to your town, we're gonna fuck your women, steal your booze, and kick your ass."
Yeah! Yeah!
That's
Wake up now on the Sunday. Now we're talking.
that was the 86 Mets.
I think that's Stu's life motto.
And,
Right?
Exactly.
and the whole team, I mean, they were all coked up.
All right, so but you have to replace the player on that team because you have to play. So who are you replacing? What position are you playing?
Let's see. Rafael Santana or Doug Risk. Yeah, Doug Risk out of the bullpen.
Yeah. All right. So
Those are the two worst players. All right, now, every time you come to the stadium, you get to look up right there, number 52.
Oh, yeah.
What does it mean that Rutgers honors you in such a way? The only number retired by Rutgers football.
You know, it's still surreal to me because I'm just a kid from Avondale, New Jersey, who came here to make my dream come true, make it to the NFL. You know, playing the game that I love, to be in the birthplace of college football with the only number ever retired, with all the greats that have come through here, the Paul Robesons of the world, Kenny Britts, Devin McCourty's, you know, Ray Rice, and my number's up there. It's amazing to see, and every time I pass by it, it's just a moment to, you know, just because my injury happened to me, it doesn't mean that I was going to let it take me out, and that's kind of what represents that perseverance of being able to just go through life and handle adversity.
Is there anything in sports that brings you joy?
I haven't had any real joy since, well, I had a little bit of joy last year.
Okay.
Game 7, walking out of that arena. That was one of my favorite experiences.
Yeah, but then you lost the next series, so it doesn't matter. You didn't win a championship.
No, but it was a pleasant enough season that I had hope. And then it all just got this year.
I would assume, because you know, I saw it on Twitter or X now, our side by side. My naked,
we were twins.
my naked
God,
bodysuit.
we look just like
we look
each
great.
other.
We look great. We look great. I seen the figure, so I would assume, you know, you had some high school accolades, or you know, played at a high level at somewhere.
My claim to fame is I ran the New York City Marathon in 2017. I only had 3 months, 3 weeks training. I went from 220 to 174. And I ran it in 4 hours, 39 minutes, 24 seconds.
How about that?
1040 mile, never broke, never pushed the entire time. And a Tiki Barber beat me by 1 minute and 15 seconds. So it was like,
I gotta give Tiki some stuff about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was like so funny. So that was my claim to fame as an athlete.
3 months?
Yeah, 3 months, 3 weeks. That's all I trained. My over/under that people bet on was 7 hours. 7 hours. It was going to take me, or I wasn't going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
I believe in FrankWalks.
You know, before we go for our walk, I need to discuss, how do I get these two guys made?
Frankie, ordinarily, they have to kill somebody. But
yeah, luckily right now, Omerta's got welcome to the family coffee. So you can bypass that, maybe get these guys drinking the right coffee. You know what I mean?
Omerta, code of silence.
Shh, coffee and cigars.
That's right.
Where'd you find these two?
I don't know, I just stumbled upon them.
I don't say nothing about you, but these guys...
And the sunglasses are good too.
Yeah, you gotta tighten them up. I feel like you're right on.
This guy's got aviators, this guy's got orange sunglasses. I mean...
I'm ready to run New York.
Good for you.
Start with New Jersey first. Don't get too big.
Start with Staten Island.
Start with Belleville, will you know what I mean? Start with Belleville.
So when are we gonna go for this walk?
Well, let's get ready to go.
All right.
Let's go.
FrankWalks, powered by BodyArmor. I can't believe it. Big Cat is a menace. I tell you, he's a menace. He has my tormentor joining us for a walk. I know he's gonna ridicule the Mets, laugh at the Dolphins' collapse, laugh at the Devils' struggles. Yeah, that's right. SVP, Scott Van Pelt, is joining me on FrankWalks. Big Cat.
This walk with Frank and SVP is a long time coming. They don't like each other. Well, Frank doesn't like SVP. Let's put it that way. I don't think SVP has any ill will towards Frank. It's funny because the two of those guys, if you had to list the most universally loved people in sports, I think they're 1 and 2, Frank and SVP. So the fact that they could never get along hurt me. And I want to see them, you know, mend their ways and come together and talk it out, maybe hug it out.
Scott Van Pelt! His head is spinning with joy! He had the checklist, and he had the checklist. Dolphins lose. He's going to be smiling tonight.
Scott Van Pelt going. Scott Van Pelt's at the game, and he was going like this, going like this. There's nothing worse than the Devils. Scott Van Pelt's head is a siren.
The reason I came for a walk with Frank is because A, I have to find out what it is I did to this man. So there's a selfish reason, like what is it? What happened? What did I do? But more importantly, I just want him to know I have his back. I think it's awesome what he's doing. I meant what I said on Twitter. I mean, the guys out here, you guys are a huge part of it, like inspiring the guy to just get out and get better. We saw him out there on the lacrosse field making moves, getting nimble, good feet. I mean, it's the nation's capital. What's a more American story than Frank Fleming becoming a true icon?
Full sight right there, baby.
Look at that.
Gotta
Blue
love
and
that.
orange.
I never thought this day was gonna come. That
Blue
we would
and orange.
actually,
Look at that.
That would be lit, and it would actually mean something.
That is a beautiful building.
I mean, this is very cinematic right here.
Yes, it is.
Come on. Did you
Yes,
guys
it-
walk this way on purpose?
No, we're walking to your hotel. We're going to Fifth and then towards your
See, sometimes, man, you just get these like little happy accidents where you know you're doing, you know, you're going the right way.
Have you ever thought, Frank, because I have a little bit, if that camera didn't catch you doing your Mets rant at that exact time, how different your life would be?
Cancellations made it nearly impossible to get around. For some, the frustration was overwhelming.
New Jersey Transit is the absolute worst. I'm not going to get to my game now because they are incompetent. Incompetent. They tell track G, track H, track E, track E, and then I get on track H, and they say, no, this train's not wrong. Their announcement was wrong.
He was clearly irate about possibly missing the Mets opening day game.
Yeah, it's like a sliding door situation.
It really is.
I mean, it's crazy.
It really is.
I mean, I just wanted to let my frustration go about New Jersey Transit, which I didn't get my driver's license until I was 28. I got it 20 years ago, probably 20 years ago around this week, 2004. I finally got my license, and I relied on buses and trains my whole life, and the bus is trying to get to Montclair State, and it was always something. There was always something, and they knew there'd be like a bus, where 3 buses in a row come. One's late, one's on time, one's early. And it's just like so bad, the service.
Well, it worked in the end. It worked out for you.
I want to ask you, so this is really the main message of our brand, right? And it's about these 5 words, and you've already exemplified all these 5 words and just taking these walks, taking this step, taking on your challenge. But if I were to ask you, which one of these words sticks out to you and why, what would you say?
Integrity.
Yeah?
Yes. You got to be true to yourself and true to everyone. I think integrity stands out the most.
That's a blessing, man. That's real. Integrity is probably the might be the toughest, because that's always walking the right path and walking the right. It's no coincidence that you picked integrity, because that's about walking the right path, walking the right line, right? I love that.
I think the walk. I told our salespeople that I thought the walk would be one of the biggest things that we have by the end of this year. Once celebrities start asking to be in it.
Yeah, we already got some people that we're already preliminary talking to. And I think that's going to be really, really big. And I think especially that I've walked now, this is 134 straight days.
How much weight have you lost?
Well, at one time my top ever was 2016. I weighed 500 pounds. Over 500 pounds.
And you're down under 350 now?
Last week, 340.
It's great.
And it's like I'm down like 40 since August.
It's great.
I mean, I'm wearing jeans right now that I could never fit in. These jeans are a little tight. They're size 56. I was wearing...
Where do you get size 56 jeans from?
This one we were lucky to get it at Burlington. But usually I have to go through like the king size or DXL to get my clothes.
Yeah.
And I was at my waist size was 69, and now it's 58.
It's definitely a little tougher to go to sleep after a rare Knicks playoff win, which you haven't seen too much.
7th Avenue after Knicks games is insane.
Yeah, I'm the idiot who thought it'd be a good idea to take 7th on the way to meet you at headquarters. Like, yeah, let's take 7th. And I was just caught up in the chaos. But I gotta say, I kind of loved it. It wasn't that bad, man. I kind of wanted to jump out of the car and just get involved.
I think Portnoy would buy you some new clothes. Sure, he has plenty of free stuff laying around, right?
Yep.
You like working for him?
Oh, it's fun. It's a fun experience. He's a great guy. He does a lot of good for a lot of people, and especially a couple years ago when he was raising money for those restaurants during the pandemic.
Yep. 2020, he was out there raising money for small businesses.
He helped keep a lot of doors open.
Yes, he did.
He helped keep a lot of doors. There's a restaurant called Calabria's in Livingston.
Okay.
They said that he saved them, and they really just love him. They treat us like kings every time we go there.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, we have Gabrielle runs it, and she's like, she treats us like kings every time we go out there. And
I
she's
mean,
great.
you don't go there expecting free food, do you?
Well, she treats us great. That's all I'll say. Actually, I don't blame you anymore. You know what? I'm coming for you, Butchergrass. I'm coming for you.
Is this the moment? Can we hug like Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
He doesn't blame me anymore. He doesn't blame. I think. Did we bury it?
We buried the hatchet.
It's really a wonderful moment, everybody. Steve, come for a walk. Pete Alonso, get that sorted out. Bucci Grosso, you really calling him for Bucci? He's awesome, by the way. He's a good dude. You like Bucci?
Yeah, but it's fun to say that name. It's like kind of like David Letterman with Boutros Scali.
It is like that. I think that's a great idea. I think Bucci Maine should be. Buster. That's a different topic.
Buster.
He hates the Mets.
Oh, I know.
Fucking hates them.
If I can recall, in 1999, he said that the Mets were the JV team and the Yankees were the varsity when they were going to play the World Series.
Come on, man. Come on.
I remember that.
The reference to me in Chile is pretty obvious.
The meme. I had my own meme.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, I tried to make barbecue ribs on the grill at my apartment.
Okay.
And I didn't realize I put the temperature up too high.
Oh.
So I put it in there, and I literally cremated them.
You got low and slow, Frank.
Yeah,
slow.
I just turned the heat on. I thought it would be low. I said, okay, I'm gonna let this for 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna take a look. And then I came in there, and it was just like ash.
Yeah.
The Stanley Cup. For 130 years, the Stanley Cup has stood as the ultimate goal of hockey. There's a lot of history in this cup. Every year, this cup gets passed down to the champion, year after year. It's not like the NBA, it's not like the NFL, it's not like baseball. There is only one Stanley Cup, and this is it. As a part of the uniqueness of the cup, every player's name is engraved. Now, after a while, the names get taken off, but they'll end up in the Hall of Fame. They're forever part and etched in this cup. And every player gets to take it home one day, and they get their day with the cup. And there's a group of men who chaperone the cup, and we got Howie here from the NHL Hall of Fame as our cup chaperone. There's one guy who I think stands above them all, and if he was given the ability to play in today's sports science technology, he'd be superhuman. And I'm talking about your co-owner,
yes,
Michael Jordan.
100%. And he has, what I loved about him and watching him
a burning
grow
desire
up is that, yes, he did anything he could to be better than everyone else. We saw it with Kobe Bryant as well. Like these guys just outworked him.
Burning desire.
Now, given his work ethic and the technology that you're saying is available today, absolutely, 100% unstoppable. Especially, you look at how the rules have changed in sports over time. It's become softer, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's 100%, right?
I think if Jordan played today, he'd average 50 points for his career.
Yeah, I believe that.
I think they're going to be a little better than you think, because you know what? The sport's become a bullpen sport. If you can get these starting pitchers to give you 4 innings, 5 innings, even 4 innings some night, and go right to the bullpen, he's going to have listen, he's a bullpen guy. He was a bullpen guy in Milwaukee. He's going to load up the bullpen with live arms. He's already done that. He's out shopping for other guys now. He wanted Peralta, didn't get him. The bottom line is they're going to have a deep bullpen, and they got an anchor at the bottom of it. They got a good pitcher in Senga I think he's a 2. I don't think he's a 1. I think he's a 2. He needs extra days off, okay?
Well, it's
he threw a great
pitching.
166 innings
It's
last year.
Japanese pitch. The Japanese have 6-man rotations.
Yeah, and he threw a great, really, he was terrific last year. He really was. I was very impressed by him, but he only threw 166 innings, and they're not that bad overall. I would sign one right-handed bat that I could DH. I like Stewart. Stewart showed you a live bat last year. I'd give him a chance to be the platoon DH. He kills right-handed pitching. He had a 900 OPS. Get a guy like Martinez, doesn't have a team. You play him against lefties. He had a 900 OPS against lefties last year. You give him some starts against righties. You got enough guys in the pen. Bader will help you. He's a good player. He's not a great player. He's a good player. He's a nice He's a good fielder. He's an okay hitter. He's not a bad player. You know, Marte's got to have a year.
I don't.
He'll bounce back this year.
I don't know about that.
I think he'll bounce back.
I think
he was
might
so
be
bad
done.
last year. He's not that old though, so I think you'll get another year out of him. And you look at it, you know, McNeil, Lindor, Alvarez, Pete. I mean, they got some pop in the lineup. They really do. The problem is they just don't have any starting pitching.
Things change right now with this NIL thing. I mean,
you know, the NIL is.
I gotta be careful, right? Because, you know, I don't want to seem like I'm hating or whatever, but it's changing the game of, you know, changing the sport. Period.
Yeah, it's on one hand, you think it's good, but is it going too far?
Well, I tell you what, I'm not sure if it's sustainable because it's getting really large. But you know what? I think it's good, but I think it needs some rules to it. Like right now, there's no rules to it.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm all for the young men making money, but just some of this stuff is getting
I like
out of
that
control.
players now you can sell a jersey with a player's name and the player gets the money.
Well, that's what name, image, and likeness was supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Where's the best hot dog in the country?
Rutt's Hut, Clifton, New Jersey. And Chicago also has a great dog called Gene and Jude's.
All right.
And if you're ever in Washington, go to Ben's Chili Bowl.
All right.
Those are, I would say, like the three iconic places I've been to.
And you just
and
eat it
Pink's
straight.
in LA, of course.
You just eat it straight, right? Like you don't. When you go to the chili place, you don't get a chili dog.
I do get a chili dog now. I do actually try to chili. I just don't put mustard or ketchup or anything like that on there. I hate mustard. I despise ketchup, and mayonnaise to me is food repellent.
All right, let's go. Moment of truth.
Here we go. Cut me. 10-minute knife.
You want to be in the 330s, right?
Power of example. Yes.
Stu, what was it?
339.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Which was a little bit lower, but
Progress is progress.
Listen.
Hey, progress is
ounce
exactly.
is progress. This is the hardest thing in the world. And listen, since I know you, the minute you get to a low level, you shoot up another 50. So this is phenomenal. Very proud. Very proud. Power of example.
When's the last time you were in the 330s?
It has to be at least 20 years.
154 straight days?
Yes.
Listen, I love that. Especially people who set goals and challenge themselves. It's easy to say you're going to commit to something, but then when you actually do it, it's like what they say, after 30 days it becomes a habit or you break a habit, and then from there, I mean, you're 154. And you haven't been 330 pounds in 20 years. I mean, so much beauty in that.
Of course, this man needs no introduction. This is Eric LeGrand, the inspirational leader of Rutgers football. 2010, he was injured. He fractured his C3 and C4? C3, C4 vertebrae in a game against Army, and it left him paralyzed. But he has gone on beyond that. He has become an inspirational leader, and he's become the symbol and the face of the hope of Rutgers football rising to new heights. Well, thank you for joining, Eric.
It was a pleasure to be here, Frank.
All right, let's do it. I heard you mention football players playing lacrosse.
Yeah.
Now, I think a lot of people noticed, but one of the greatest football players of all time, Jim Brown, was arguably a better lacrosse player than football.
Jim Brown, rest in peace, was an advisor to the PLL. He owned shares in the PLL. Our MVP award is named after Jim Brown. His wife Monique and his son Eris are fantastic people. They care a lot about the sport. They contribute to groups like Harlem Lacrosse. And Jim told me if there was a pro lacrosse league around when he graduated from Syracuse, he would have entered that versus the NFL. He was obsessed with lacrosse, still kept his sticks in his house, and has been a phenomenal sort of steward of the game. And the other one who kept a great relationship with Jim Brown, I think one of the best, if not the greatest coaches of all time, not just in NFL history. He wrote the foreword to this book for me, is Bill Belichick.
He grew up playing lacrosse, loves the games, goes to the Final Four, comes to PLL games, and is just such a amazing mind for sport at large. One day I want to try to get him coaching in the PLL. I already tried messaging him and picking up the phone and calling him to come take over the Water Dogs. We got a better fit with Bill Tierney for now. But one day I want to get Coach Belichick.
Why not the Cannons?
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
I got a feeling that Juan Soto is just made to be a Yankee. And it kills me that he's made to be a Yankee.
Why?
Because I'm a Mets fan.
Oh, I got you. No, Juan's great. He's been great since he's been young. You know, right away, right out of the gate, this dude's been awesome.
He is the left-handed, just superpower, does everything hitter the Yankees have been waiting for a decade. You know, they've had Judge, who's a legend himself, but that left-handed power stroke into those seats, it's just going to be. It was made for him.
No,
and he's such a good overall player. I actually think that if I'm and I did it in one of my fantasy drafts. If you had the first overall pick, Juan Soto would be my #1 pick. I'm glad you didn't take it too personally.
No, I never take anything personally. Are you kidding me? No.
Hey. You like losing then? You don't shut up, right?
I was just frustrated, yeah.
Do you remember what I said? You may not even know. You probably know I said it. It's probably one of the most wrong things that I've been since Barstool when we hired you. I said you were going to be on an innings count.
Yep.
I was wrong on that one. I was dead ass wrong on that one. Gladly wrong. What'd you think when I said that? Were you like, oh, I'm going to show this guy or what?
Yeah, I just wanted to go there, get involved, show what I can do. And I try to like participate as much as I can in everyone's content. I saw you were talking about the draft.
What draft?
The New York office draft, where we're basically going to come out with videos like the.
We were talking about that today.
Yeah,
yeah, that was Kevin's thing.
Yes. And I think we're going to work on something that's going to be probably Hollywood related. I don't know if I want to say much more than that.
Who's on your team?
Kelly Keegs, Lil Sass.
Oh, it's a good team.
Robbie Fox.
This was drafted?
Yeah.
How'd you get all those guys together?
It's just how they get it all together. And we got Gia too.
Huh. It's a good team. It's a solid squad.
I wanted to tell you, like, you know, keep inspiring people, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of people wouldn't take on the challenges you've taken, and you know, we much respect to you. Keep you lifted up too, because a lot of people would not do what you're doing. Keep inspiring people, man. You know, don't look back. Don't look back.
I have to walk every day now. It's almost like I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it.
Yeah.
Even when I don't feel well, I got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had a sinus infection recently, and I paddled through it, and somehow still got some steps in.
Right. Hey, just a little, just something. Just something. You know, it doesn't mean you have to, you know, take on the world, right? But you do something. You've done something, right?
Yes.
You know, and something's more than nothing.
Yep.
So, no, I got a lot of respect for you, man, and appreciate you inviting me to be on this, take this walk with you.
So much what you're doing, man. Like, I know how real it is, what you're doing, and I don't even know you that well, and I'm just really, really happy for you.
Yeah, I mean, my heaviest was 500. I had MRSA,
right,
which dropped me. I lost about a good 75 pounds with MRSA.
Right.
Then I started losing weight actively around 2019. The pandemic caused me to shoot up back over 400.
Yeah, that must have been really hard.
Yep. Then after that, it was a fluctuation. I was 380 last August. Now I'm getting close to 330 I haven't been down to 330 in over 20 years.
And not only do you look great, but you must feel night and day difference, obviously, right?
There are hills I walked that I couldn't have walked 3 months ago, let alone 6 months ago. Remember, you got like a brutal, like a big concussion.
Yes.
With your line was just so bad.
So, we're from New York, right? So we know what putting a hit out on somebody's about, right?
Yeah.
Put a hit out on that guy, take him out, when he's out.
Hey.
Take him out, when he's out to dinner with his family, take him out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like there was a hit put out on me in that Buffalo game where I took that concussion because Richie Kotite decided to take a defensive tackle and make him our starting left tackle in Buffalo against Bruce Smith.
Oh, boy.
Now, playing on the road in Buffalo with Bruce Smith is like impossible. You can't block the guy. You know what I mean?
The leading sacker statistically of all time.
Yeah.
It's, they didn't count stats, but probably Deacon Jones probably has more sacks than him.
So what happens is Everett MacGyver is out at left tackle. Bruce Smith is out there. And all of a sudden he moves his shoulders just like that. Bruce jumps. He's offside, but it's a false start. Nobody can hear a whistle. I drop back. I'm looking down the field, and I've seen it 1,000 times. I don't remember it, but I see it. I've seen it. And he puts the crown of his helmet right underneath my chin.
He'd be ejected today.
Exactly.
He'd be ejected today.
A lot of people know where I live. I've only ever had like one crazy it wasn't even a crazy situation. It was just like my house got put on social media for like Halloween and stuff like that. I would get like my first Halloween. I had like literally probably, not even kidding, like 300 kids and families right there the first time I moved. And but yeah, we get a lot of some people knock on the door, ask for pictures, give me some stuff. I just try to be nice to everyone, treat everyone with respect.
About Cohen.
Yeah,
He should go on a walk with you, by the way.
Yes, he should. Steve Cohen should
don't
come
walk,
on a
walk.
Yes.
It doesn't rhyme, but it kind of rhymes. But
yeah, it does.
Don't
it does.
walk with Frank.
Maybe he could explain himself. Maybe
Man's saving lives, helping people with heart issues. Come for a walk.
Maybe he could get my mind right. Get me off this like period of dread where I look at the prospects and I go, okay, is this gonna be another Brett Beatty? I mean, I've seen so many prospects bust.
Come on,
and
go for a walk.
And why isn't Pete Alonso signed?
Why? What are we doing?
Pete Alonso.
By the time the walk's over, you'll have it sorted out.
Pete Alonso.
Terms and conditions.
Pete Alonso should be a Met for life.
Right?
This guy's gonna hit 500 homers. They should all be in a Mets uniform.
All of them. If they're not, what are we doing?
Exactly. We signed all these old fogies. Now he's afraid to sign people because he signed the old fogies.
Huh?
And now he's got his fourth different general manager. Essentially, David Stearns is the GM now.
Right.
It's been like changing directions every time, and it's hard for me to trust. It's hard for me to trust, especially.
Guy's got trust issues, Steve.
I honestly think the Mets are going to lose 100 games this year.
No. They're not going to lose 100 games. Please don't lose 100 games.
You're trying to bring lacrosse to more people.
Yeah.
And you've started an initiative to bring lacrosse to Harlem.
Yeah. Well, I want to give a shout out to my former Boston Cannons teammates. It was a good segue. Mike Levin, who's the CEO of a group called Harlem Lacrosse. They're now in 7 states across the country. They're more than just an after-school lacrosse program, though. They also offer after-school studying and tutoring programs. They get kids into college that play lacrosse. We'll have a Harlem Lacrosse alum in the PLL at some point soon, I'm sure. And what we do through our foundation, our 501 called PLL Assists, is we work with groups like Harlem Lacrosse to get sticks in hands and goals on field or goals on courts. And we send our players. I'm going up on May 6th to a practice, giving away a bunch of books and also going to shoot. And then we have our street lacrosse event that we do with Rich Kleiman and Kate Eade, who are investors in the PLL. That's going to be on May 11th. And so you'll see Harlem Lacrosse, City Lacrosse, Bronx Lacrosse, Brooklyn Lacrosse, all these organizations coming in, boys and girls, playing on Kevin's courts in the Lower East Side. And then we bring in some pros, men and women. It's such a sick block party. You got to come to that. That's on a Saturday from 2 to 5, I think. So we try to not just contribute resources to these organizations, we build events. And I think that's the path, man.
The horrible day that every football player, this is somewhere in the back of their head that this could happen. Now you're covering a kickoff against Army. And what was it like with the rehab? How hard was it to get, and you're so positive, that's one great thing about this, is you're so positive. How were you able to overcome this and thrive the way you have?
Honestly, it's when I first got injured, I saw a lot of people that were in my similar situation I had no idea about. When I was here at Rutgers, I lived in my little bubble. I was playing here, obviously at the stadium that we're in today, and working out all the time, going to class. I didn't know anything else outside of here. After my injury though, I saw people that lost family members, friends, that didn't have nobody supporting them, and I said to myself, like, look at all the support that I got. I'm not gonna let this injury hold me back. I'm 20 years old, God willing, I live many more years from here on out, and it's kind of how I approached it.
It's got flaws. Take, for example, the 1981 Stanley Cup champion, the New York Islanders.
Very good. You know a lot of your stuff about the Stanley Cup. You've got a lot of history there. That's great.
And it's changed a lot over the years, but it's always the cup. And that's what it's always about. I like how the years the Canadians went, they actually have Club de Hockey Canadien. And then Montreal Canadiens was in 1993, but like the early years, they wrote the Club de Hockey de Montreal Canadiens. The politicians are probably more corrupt than the mobsters these days, with the way they
the way
they skim off everything.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I mean, you can't trust anyone. Everyone is out for themselves. But it's good to have great charities and people who actually care and do things for people.
Yes,
I went to an event in Connecticut, Friends of Feeney. They do a lot of good work, and that's one of the things I'm actually going to try to start doing is with my walks is going on the occasional charity walk here and there. I did an ALS walk back in November.
That's great. But we've, over the years, the Sopranos we've helped the March of Dimes. We are, St. Jude. We've helped
St. Jude. That is one of my favorite charities
so,
too.
I mean,
what St.
over
Jude
the years,
does.
That was one of the greatest things about being put in this position. Whatever little celebrity we have is to give back to people and to help people. And that was a nice thing about, becoming, well known like this.
I mean, and I remember when you were at the St. Peter, the big run, you talked about how the reason you were able to do it is because you recruited within the city. You had tough kids.
Yes.
I mean, that stood out in my head when I heard that you appreciate the city of New York and how tough it is to play there and the toughness there.
Yeah, you know what? That's something that I want to do even here at Seton Hall, right? Seton Hall to me is blue collar as well.
Oh yeah.
Right. So there's certain type of kids that kind of fit my personality as a coach, and obviously kids from the city, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, like those are the type of kids that you want to keep the good local hungry kids home.
Yeah,
right? So that's the kind of goal for me. This year, it's funny because on this team this year, right, you had Alameda Dawes from Newark.
Yep. Right,
you had Kadari Richmond from Brooklyn. Right, so you got Dylan LaRusso from the Bronx. Right, so you got guys on the team. You got Jaquan Sanders, who's from New York as well. He's from Queens. Elijah, he's from Jersey. So we had a combination of New York and New guys on that team, and I think that this is one of the reasons why our team was pretty tough.
How's your crew doing, the MikeyBets?
They are doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're coming up with more and more stuff. We're going to be making more and more trips, and they're making good deals with some companies. Like we might have some big things coming up. I mean, they're talking like big companies.
Good.
I got to Topps last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they making a card for you?
Well, Leaf has made a card for me that's autographed that sold out in like a week. And Topps is thinking about doing something with that, doing some concept, possibly appearing in the Allen Ginter set.
So I was in that. KFC and I did that, and I still, one of them sold for like 15 grand. So I have autograph hawkers now who like will wait because they've seen that one sale, and they're actually the worst. They're just, they are the worst. They always hawk you, but you'd be a perfect fit for that.
You know, you get your little actor chair and they put your name on it. I wanted one photo for myself, and I wanted my chair next to De Niro, Morgan Freeman, Michael Douglas. I just with my name in it. Because obviously, like, pick the thing that doesn't belong on this list. It's me. It's very easy. So I'm arranging the chairs, and I go get my chair, and the props department does the names, and God bless the props department. They spelled my name so poorly. You know, Jerry Ferrara, that shit was Jerry Ferrara, like, it was E-R-A-R, like every vowel, I'm like, wow, did they cast the wrong person? So I got that picture though.
They all blowing at you, Frank. I'm with him. I'm with Frank.
And I'm just scared they're going to trade Pete Alonso.
I think they should try to sign him. If they can't sign him, then I agree with you. I think they'll trade him. But I think they got to try and sign him first, and sign him to a shorter contract, but give him more bucks. Because I don't know what Pete's going to be at 34. I don't even want to look at him at 34. But right now, the guy hits 40 home runs. And here's the other thing: he plays every single day.
Yes, he's missed. The only games he's missed injuries. Yeah. And it's been like real.
And he came back fast from the injury, faster than he should have.
Should have. He
Absolutely.
I think he should have not skipped the All-Star game completely last year. Because he looked like he was just like wiped out.
Yeah, now, see if this idea sounds good to you. That I think the league should add a second bye week.
Okay.
And then say I don't think they're going to go back to a 16-week schedule, which was always the perfect schedule. But I say we play 19 weeks, and that each team has 2 bye weeks.
I mean, as an athlete and a player in the NFL, you know, another week of recovery definitely wouldn't hurt. I think that pushes some things back. That'll make the Super Bowl a week later.
And you know what? It will work out because that will make the Super Bowl President's Day weekend.
Okay.
So that Monday would be off, and that's what they're striving for. Correct.
Oh, okay.
So that everyone after the Super Bowl just doesn't go to work anyway.
It is largest sick day in America. Is the day after Super Bowl.
Wow, you guys really put some thought in it. I've never thought about it that way. I mean, looking from my point of view, another week where you can get to recover and a little more time to spend with your family and friends. Yeah, I don't think it would hurt.
Yeah.
How important has his support been over all the years?
Coach Shiano is honestly, it was like a father figure that turned into a friend now. From drafting me to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I remember when he recruited me, he said he's gonna treat all of his players like they're his kids. And those dark nights in the hospital when he was staying with me until 2 a.m. in the morning so my family could get some sleep and get some rest, there was just no better example of what him standing by his word. And, you know, he turns boys into men. And it's not easy to play for Coach, but I bet you're going to learn a lot. And then when you leave here, you'll become a better person and go into society, whether that's into the NFL or just into general, into life.
It sounded like a train sometimes.
Really did.
When he was on the mound.
When he dropped the curveball on people.
And then you had when you first got into New York City at that time, there was a giant billboard for Nike that was hanging over by the Port Authority terminal.
Right.
And it would have him like mid-pitch, and it just had the swoosh and Dwight Gooden, nothing else said. And that was, you just saw that like mural every time you came into the city. The first thing you saw was that Dwight Gooden mural.
So it was he your favorite player?
He might have been.
I loved it.
I mean, Dwight Gooden, I can't wait till they retire his number in April. That's going to be exciting. I mean, long overdue. I mean, Dwight Gooden is such a complicated person and figure, but I mean, I'm genuinely sad every time he falls off the wagon. Every time I see him and he looks good, I feel good. I'm happy. But when he relapses, I genuinely feel very sad whenever that happens.
Best class in the country.
You played in the McDonald's All-American game.
Yep.
And you were on the same team as Kobe Bryant.
How about that? Yep.
And you were named the game's most valuable player.
Yeah.
What was that like to play with Kobe, one, and two, win the MVP of that game?
You know what? Like to my players, I'll never really talk about myself because it's not about me. But to tell you the truth, that was a tremendous honor. It was. I mean, if you look at all the guys that was on that game, I mean, we had about, in that McDonald's game alone, we had about, I would say, 20-something pros in that game alone. So I'm just gonna name a few, right? So think about it. You had, God bless the dead, Kobe Bryant. You had Tim Thomas. You had Mike Bibby. You had Steven Jackson. You had Rip Hamilton. You had Jermaine O'Neal. Corey Benjamin, Martine Cleaves. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, these are like stars. These are like
guys that had great careers in the NBA.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. But the thing that sticks out to most to me was that it was just like that was an unbelievable moment. It was great because I got a chance to play with the other top players in the country. And for me to get the MVP was just icing on the cake.
I mean,
Boston's going to be in there, but Florida, more importantly, I think it's going to be Florida that they play. That's my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Carolina could have won that series too, but Rangers did what they had to do. They're the better team.
Yeah, I think what ended up happening is the Hurricanes just at the beginning of the season, beginning of the series, just their power play just was dreadful.
Oh, their power play is not dreadful. It's actually frustrating. For someone who's not like, listen, am I a fan of the Hurricanes? I'm not a fan of the Hurricanes. I think that they have a good enough team. I like their style. I like that they work their bags off. They have a bunch of guys that leave it all on the ice every game. That's what I do love. But their power play to me can be so frustrating to watch. It's like, they have so many good weapons. It's just like, you gotta get over the puck, get shots, simplify it. They got D that can shoot the puck, that are mobile. I just didn't get that, how their power play couldn't do it. But then you look at the Rangers, and you see the way they move the puck around, and they don't have that personnel, right? So
there are technically 3 cups.
Yes.
You got the original cup, which was retired around 50 years ago, I believe.
That's correct.
And they figured that it was too brittle. They didn't want the cup to break. They didn't want it to cut to break. So they remade the cup, and now there's 2 cups. You have this, the presentation cup. This is the official cup. This is the cup that goes around, travels around, and the players get. This is the cup the team gets. This is the cup the players get their names etched on. Of course, you get them etched on both. But then you have a display cup, which is a stand-in and an absolute total replica that's at the Hall of Fame at all times.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we booked the summer. There's less competition. Football is all about the fall.
Well, football dominates everything.
Winter, it's cold too, by the way. We're an outdoor league. And it's basketball, hockey.
I mean, I just think about what the NFL has done to the NBA on Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, no, that's not your holiday anymore, it's ours.
Yeah.
And I'm just so frustrated about the Mets all the time. It's just, I am an angry, just like broken Mets fan.
Broken?
Yes, broken. They have broken me. The Mets have ripped the heart out of my. It's kind of like Indiana Jones when they rip the heart out of your chest and they laugh.
Right.
I picture the Mets do that to me every year. I mean,
I love it.
It's just being a Mets fan is just. You see, what happened is, I was 9 years old in 1985. And that was the first year I really fully got into baseball. And I could have been like my whole family and been a Yankee fan. But no, I had to watch Dwight Gooden and be amazed by Dwight Gooden. So I went to the Mets. Oh, shoot. I almost slipped. Yeah, I almost slipped there. But I went there. Dwight Gooden basically became a Mets fan. And it was great being a Mets fan. 85, for my money, was one of the best baseball summers for either the Mets and the Yankees. I mean, both teams in the pennant race the last week in the season. Both won in the 90s. Both would be wild cards if they had the current format.
Right.
And
Dwight Gooden just like being dominant.
Yeah, the Doc
that year.
He was something special. They had Doc and Straw. Was Lenny there? Dykstra there?
That was actually his rookie season.
Okay.
Dykstra didn't. Dykstra.
He was probably
an okay rookie season.
Year or two later, kind of got going.
Yeah, 86 was when he started like to really establish himself. And of course, then the second year I'm a Mets fan. 86, 108 wins, the wildest, craziest team ever to lace up the cleats, and it was fun to be a Mets fan.
It was the 100th. I saw it.
It was incredible. I think there was about 150 people joined me in Central Park as we walked from Strawberry Fields. There was a guy actually there that was playing Beatles songs and hated us because no one was tipping him. The people who get tipped are people who are actually good. This guy was like no good. This guy was terrible. And then he was like complaining. Hey, I've been here. What are you doing? I'm not here sitting here for free. It's cold out here. No one's tipping me. What are you doing? All we are saying is give peace a chance. Oh, what the fuck you doing? Fucking tip me, motherfucker.
Could you sing better than him?
I probably could.
What's the best Beatles song?
What's my favorite Beatles song? Long and Winding Road's a good one.
Yeah.
I like Yesterday.
Yesterday's a great one. My wedding song was Here Comes the Sun, so I'm partial. Yeah.
The Mets drive me insane. By the way, they have ripped the heart out of my chest so much. It's like that scene from Temple of Doom where the guy rips your heart out of your chest and they hold it up and laugh it.
Right.
I mean, just so many years of just disappointment and heartbreak and just bad things happening.
Give me your top five. Give me your top 5 all-time Mets.
Top 5 all-time Mets?
Yeah.
Well, in my fandom,
okay,
which is 40 years now, it would be Mike Piazza,
okay,
Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, David Wright, and probably Keith Hernandez.
Okay.
One of my top 10 sports moments.
Yes.
Is the spike play.
Yeah, that's overrated. You know why that's overrated? Who was the backup quarterback that day? Do you remember who the backup quarterback for the Miami Dolphins was?
Back in '94?
Yes.
Oh, it was.
Come on.
Oh, frig.
Bill Belichick got rid of him. Bernie Kosar.
No, that's right. He was '94. He was '94. I don't even. You're right. It was Kosar because he got
right.
there.
And this is why
I was
this
1 year
whole
off.
this whole spike game thing is a pile of bullshit. Because Bernie Kosar, when he was the quarterback of the Browns, and the Bengals and the Browns, we had a little thing together back in the day.
You're from
right. So Bernie used to do that. Bernie used to do that all the time, and we all knew about it. And it wasn't Dan's idea to do that spike. That was Bernie's idea.
I never knew that. I never knew that.
Now you know something. And by the way, you know who the defensive back covering on that?
Aaron Glenn?
Yes, and he covered. It was a crappy throw. And who was it? O.J. McDuffie?
No, it was Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram makes an unbelievable catch, back shoulder or back hip catch. But Marvin Washington played that play. Aaron Glenn played that play. And then it just became known as one of these jet things. You know what I'm saying? And you got to bring that up to me?
Well, I
just spent like an hour and a half with walking you all over the freaking creation. And you bring that up?
Well, you brought up 94 and Mike Victor, so.
Yes, okay.
So when Barstool started getting more successful, because I used to take the subway all the time, a normal job, that I vowed never to go on the subways again. Public transit. And in New York, you kind of need it. I still won't do it. MikeyBets, we almost lost you there.
Speaking of that, you gotta be super excited for yourself, man.
Yeah.
Doing these walks, and I heard all the pounding that you lost, and just you're inspiring a lot of people to want to do a lot of things. Man, don't take that light. That's big time, man. That's big time. So I want to give you a hand for that, man, because I thought
thanks a lot.
You doing that, it's inspiring.
It didn't start out like that way, but it just grown and grown and grown. It's become a movement. I mean, I can't believe that guys come up to me saying that they're inspiring. I'm inspiring them. It's amazing. There's this guy we met that we walked with.
Yep.
Don Gilbert.
Yep.
And he's battling cancer.
Oh, wow.
And he says that he was bedridden, and he started to watch me walk, and it inspired him to get on his feet a little bit and start moving around. And this guy is battling every day. And the fact that I'm getting him moving is something.
That's an unbelievable story, man. And so, with that being said, don't take, your platform lightly, man. And I started realizing that the last couple of years being back here. Some things we say and some things we do, we doesn't realize the impact that we have on people. You know what I mean? And what you're doing, and for a guy like that to say that, it's super inspiring.
In the past 4 or 5 years, I've been doing the Christmas ball in New York City for the Madison Square Boys and Girls Club. And, I offer up myself to go to dinner with people.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
So the first year, we raised, in a matter of 5 minutes, $24,000. 2 tables at $12,000 each. The highest was $36,000. And every year we're just raising a lot of money to help these underprivileged children in New York City.
That's good. And New York City, it seems like too often people just forget about people. And,
yeah.
I mean,
to now be able to have 2 years of being an analyst under my belt and the experience, to be able to sit there now and watch the Stanley Cup Final and analyze it and know the players, I couldn't be any more excited for it. But I think that this might be, the conference final and the Stanley Cup Final might be some of the best hockey that we've seen over the past decade.
Last year they were good conference finals too.
Oh, no. I think this year, though, it's going to be an absolute war. If you're thinking about Rangers, potentially Florida or Boston, Dallas, Edmonton, Vancouver, these are the elite teams right now left in the game. So I think it's
there's been almost no upsets this year.
No, because there's so much parity. What's an upset?
Only like the New Yorkers do, right?
Yeah.
They follow their sports and the passion they have about it. It's kind of a cool thing for me. That's what I kind of enjoyed, I think, as much as anything. Just the craziness of the fan and kind of getting into it.
I mean, the Mets, and people don't really think about that today. It's the Yankees are now kings, and the Mets have subjugated the throne long ago. And but in the late '80s, the Mets were the story in New York. They had the back pages. Who are your biggest stars? If we're watching the PLL, who should we be looking for? What players should they circle and say, that's the guy, that's the guy? This is the team.
Yeah, reigning MVP, Utah Archers, Tom Schreiber, one of the greatest players of a generation. He's a bit like the Caitlin Clark of our sport. He can shoot from anywhere. He plays sort of freely, almost effortlessly. On your squad, Trevor Baptiste, he was 2 years ago his MVP. He's the best face-off player in the world. Plays offense, defense, just a beast. And then down in Carolina, there's a kid, Blaze Reardon, and Josh Byrne. Blaze Reardon's the best goalie I've ever played against and seen. Josh Byrne is if you look at a basketball player on the lacrosse field, that's his style. A lot of pick rolls, shakes, swim moves, dunking from behind the net. So he's pretty exciting. Those guys, I would say, are worth the price of admission. And then all the way out in California, legend Rob Pennell, one of the most exciting midfielders in Romar Dennis, I think one of the best young talents in Nakai Montgomery, who plays college football at Duke and college lacrosse at Duke. And then the fourth guy on that team, a new signing who was the captain linebacker for Stanford football, Ricky Miezan. Many people forgot that he was the #1 high school lacrosse recruit in the country before deciding to play college football. He's a fucking beast. So we got loads of talent on each team. Those I would consider are the stars.
See, I didn't have a dad, so I made my own choice. I was a Mickey Mantle guy. I grew up when there was only one team in town. There was no Mets. There was no Dodgers and Giants. They were gone. I was an in-between kid. So I'm the automatic Yankee Mickey Mantle guy because they were the only team in town.
My father's actually, your birthday is...
I'm 69, yes.
Your birthday is
March 20th.
March 20th. My
Yeah.
father's birthday is March 25th, 1953.
Oh, and I'm 54.
Yep.
March 20, 1954.
Yeah, so
I'm going to be 70 this March. That's a scary number, you know. A very scary number.
My father grew up a Yankee fan. His favorite player is Joe Pepitone.
Oh, my father's favorite. See, my father took off when I was 6. Never saw him again. Okay, he left us high and dry. That's a story for another day. But my father's favorite player, I remember when I was a little boy, was Pepe. He loved Pepitone. See, he used to say to me, "You think Mantl's so great he couldn't shine DiMaggio's shoe?" Because that's an Italian guy telling me that, okay? You know, and I loved Mantle. He was my only idol. I worshipped at the altar of Mickey Mantle. I used to come out of the game on the street and run upstairs just to see him hit. My mother would call me and say, "Mantle's up." I'd run inside just to watch the at-bat, then I go back and play. I mean, that's how much I worshipped. And I didn't get to go to any games. We didn't have any money. I couldn't go to games. I went to one game a year if I was lucky. Maybe my Little League took me, you know, or something like that, or we got tickets from somebody. So I never got to go to the games, but I worshipped Mantle.
Pachenko is...
Come on now.
I mean, there's a guy that's like completely like underappreciated. And been a key part of 2 Chiefs championships now.
That's a 7th round pick, and all he still talks about is keep chopping. That's how you know it's a lifestyle here. When we talk about the chop, people love to say it, but here it's a lifestyle to us. And Pacheco, even though I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan, I love to see all the success he's having with the Chiefs because he deserves everything, especially what he's been through in his life. It's just amazing to see everything that's coming his way.
Let's go this way.
When you do Thursday night football, and do you have to like do some like workout, like going into the Sunday game, like have some stuff prepared for Thursday, or is it just a sprint to Thursday?
No, so you know like that, you know going into that Sunday game, Thursday is coming around quick. So we just treat our Monday and our Tuesday and our Wednesday different. You'll come in and you'll watch film on Monday, which you would do anyway, and get a lift. That Tuesday becomes more, and that Monday you add a walkthrough. And then that Tuesday is more of a walkthrough day, and then you travel, or if it's a home game, you go to the hotel, and then Thursday, boom, right there.
When I started this, I would feel cramps. I would get pains in my hips, pains in my legs, and I had to like stop and like for like 5 minutes. I rarely do that anymore. The only times I might do that is if I hit a tough hill.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you had to change your diet at all, or have you tried, or is it just purely the exercise?
It's mainly exercise. Yeah. I'm trying to eat a little less here and there. Trying to eat fewer French fries and stuff.
Yeah. The sports encyclopedia, just done?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I just, you know what happened was...
Run out of time.
Yeah, I don't have the time anymore to run it. And basically it's just like, Wiki took over, and Wiki stole a lot from me when they were building. Let me tell you, I go on to...
Wiki stole from you?
Wiki stole from me.
Oof.
They literally lifted like team histories from me. When they were first like starting.
I believe it. That's the... Now, Wiki is not Wikipedia, or it's the same thing?
It's Wikipedia.
So Wikipedia stole from the tank, from Sports Encyclopedia.
Yeah, like the early years of Wikipedia, they stole a lot of the team history. Like they just copied and pasted from me. I've worked with some great actors, like Wahlberg. You worked with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
Yes.
I mean Sully.
Yeah, Sully, which, you know, directed by Clint Eastwood. You know, I have a very small part, which some of it even got cut, but you know, the Hollywood folklore with like Clint Eastwood was he only does one take, and he doesn't call action. And then I just got this call. I don't even think I auditioned for it. It's like, you got this offer. It's a Clint Eastwood movie. Right away, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening. Then you see, it's like, all right, you got 2 scenes, calm down. And they're quick scenes. But still, it's like, I'm gonna find out the answer now to all this Clint Eastwood stuff. And I get to set, and my goal most of the time is like, just don't get fired. That's
I'm
like my
amazed
main
by
goal.
Clint Eastwood. He is,
He's
what,
still
93 and still directing?
Still directing. There's
still
an
has
image released.
Still has his marbles, still has his senses, still in great shape.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he do right?
Everything, apparently. So yeah, like, I get to that set, and we're getting ready to shoot, and I'm like wondering, is he gonna talk to, and he just comes over, and he goes, start whenever you're ready, and walks away. No action. I'm looking at the other actor like, should we just go? You just do the scene, and that's it, one and done.
I'm out with a book.
Yeah.
Called The Way of the Champion. Tell us about this book.
Well, it kind of ties back to a friend of mine who's my favorite author and an investor in the PLL, Ryan Holiday. He writes Obstacle is the Way, Ego is the Enemy. He's a stoic writer. He called me in my final season before I retired and asked if I had ever thought about writing a book and proposed an idea that was like hybrid athlete and business book. And he said, just basically let's sit together and write down a bunch of lessons you've learned over your career. But more importantly, Frank, I used to take walks like this with other athletes, basketball, baseball, football. You know, I'd get on the phone, I'd fly out to conferences, and I'd learn about what other athletes were doing. And through those lessons, I applied them to my career as an athlete, and then also what I was doing in business. Like Mark Cuban has a couple of chapters in there as a bit of a mentor, and Adam Silver. So consider the book a guide for becoming a great athlete, business person, entertainer, whatever you want.
That you remember, I already know the answer. You're like a great coach. I think you remember the losses more clearly than the wins. Is that true?
I think that is true.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I'm not asking you to answer for the rest of them. I just think, what is it about being a fan that we won't let ourselves hang on to the joy?
I hate losing more than I like winning.
You know what? You're like Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. I didn't have that in my bingo card. Frank, Tiger, and Michael Jordan. You're like the same.
I hate losing more than I like winning.
That's a curse, kind of. That's a curse, because you know what I always say, you gotta enjoy the moments, like in life, because it's hard. You lose more than you win mostly.
I mean,
you gotta let yourself enjoy the wait.
I was 10, almost 11 when I met 286, and I wasn't able to stay up and watch the last out.
Right.
So the only thing I have is this video that I watched to the point that the video was about to break apart. The parquet floor in Boston is iconic.
Correct. It'll be like putting, well, I don't want to say it because I know it'll get you mad, but like putting the Yankees in yellow uniforms or something. You know, it's Notre Dame with crazy. Yeah. Although Notre Dame does wear crazy helmets time to time.
I remember a couple years ago, Notre Dame played a game at Yankee Stadium and basically dressed up like the Yankees. I wanted to puke.
Disgusting.
I wanted to puke.
Yeah, I don't like any of that. I like all the old school basic stuff.
I look at some of these NBA teams and their jerseys, and they don't even look like their team. I mean, I got the Bucks wearing that blue uniform. They've never worn blue in their history. These and some of these jerseys are just hideous. Like the Heat have a jersey where they have all the different riding styles. It looks like a ransom demand. Put the marker that there was no season.
Yes, so from what I hear, Mr. Bettman wanted to put it on the cup so it would show the history of it, because he didn't want to have two teams win back-to-back but have a year missing, because then it would create a lot more questions about what happened. So it just shows the history of the league and what happened at that time. And I think it's a good idea, I guess, to to show it. Although it doesn't look the best, it still gives the history of it. So
that's true. This team came out and battled every night and had a great season and showed themselves just how great they are by winning the NIT. Now, obviously the team was disappointed. Yep. How are you able to focus them to win the NIT?
You know what? It all comes down to culture, right? The culture of your program. It all starts at the top. It's leadership, right? And I think the players understood that we got a raw deal, right? But at the same time, when you're very competitive and you love this game of basketball, we had a couple guys that were seniors that wanted to keep playing. I left it to the guys on the team if they wanted to play, and they wanted to play. And I said, fellas, if we're going to play, then we're going to try to win this whole thing. I think we came out with the mindset of that. And, the first game was very challenging, to be honest with you, extremely challenging. But once we got past the first game, I think we got our rhythm back.
Of course, Rutgers this year, the Big Ten is expanding. It's becoming a monster conference, a mega conference. Mm-hmm. So we're going to watch Rutgers going up against USC, UCLA, Washington.
It's kind of crazy to be honest with you. Teams traveling to the West Coast like that, but I'm excited because USC, UCLA, obviously, you know, they have special talent, special athletes, but they're going to get that physicality of the Big Ten. I think it might catch them a little bit by surprise with how physical this conference is. I mean, you see it week in and week out, whenever it's in a running game, defense. So those Pac-12 teams that are coming now to the Big Ten might be in for a rude awakening in the beginning.
So how long you been doing your walks, man? What made you decide I'm gonna do these walks?
Well, it started when we went to a Notre Dame game, and we had a long walk from the where we were parked to the stadium, and then we started talking. Hey, how about we do this regularly?
Yeah.
And then about a week later, we started doing them.
Yeah.
And it's now been 166 straight days.
So how many do you do a week?
7.
You do it every day?
Every day.
And every day, do you have a guest, or you just say I'm gonna do it every day?
The guests have only started recently, but whether we have a guest or not, we have to get the walks in.
Do you have, when you walk, do you always like document it or at least log it, or how do you do it?
Yeah, we do a little video.
Got it.
A little quick video. And that's what Matt's working on right now is the video.
Okay.
And it's one of the good things. The league has changed so much since then.
It has.
I think if Dan Marino played in this era, with these rules, there's no telling how many yards he could have passed for.
Well, if he did that and I played alongside of him, how would have I done?
Oh, you'd have probably put more numbers too.
Yeah, okay. It's not just about Dan Marino. I mean, I know he's great and everything, but I mean, my God.
Yeah, well, Dan's always been my favorite. I mean, and of course, you've had a good partnership with Barstool. Barstool's sent coverage out there, and that helps get an audience.
Yeah. I mean, look, Barstool, I think, is modern media, where you have Dave and Big Cat, KFC. These guys were like, hey, we have this rocket ship called social media and the internet to our advantage. That's different than when the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, ESPN were all founded. Yeah, I mean, those are traditional media. It's more expensive, and your reach is limited to people who not only have a subscription but are tuning in at a certain time. Social media has this long tail, immediate reach, 3 billion people on the platform. They're like, we're just going to tell our story through this. So that's how we think about the PLL too. Is okay, shit. If MLB was started instead of the early 1900s in the 21st century, how would they design their programming?
I think Ricky's the best player that I ever played with. Yeah, and I say that in due respect to like Winnie and those guys, but Ricky just changed the game. Like when he was rolling, from getting on base to hitting for power, hitting for average, defense, disrupting the game, just changed the game.
Ricky Henderson, when he got on base, if you walked, you basically walked a double or triple. Nobody could steal third base the way he stole third base.
No, he was something.
I mean, he broke the record against the Yankees, the all-time record. And people don't realize this. Ricky Henderson also has the career record for most leadoff home runs. And it's by a wide margin, too.
Yeah.
20 non-contact ACL Achilles injuries in like 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I've heard that stat before, and you know, there's a lot of people who complain about the turf. I know the owners and everyone did the best they can to get a new surface this year, so the field was different than the year prior. But luckily, I mean, in my career, I haven't got any lower body injuries on that turf. All my stuff has came away. But yeah, you know, me personally, I like grass. I played in grass at Penn State. You know, I remember I saw a tweet like my yards per carry, or you know, whatever it is actually higher on grass than it is on turf. And just how I feel the next day, that Monday, that Tuesday, after playing, like say if we go to Philly or we go to Washington, rather than playing home or going to Dallas, you definitely feel a difference.
Now there's one team that has like, it's a NFL only stadium. They rarely even have like college games at this stadium. I'm talking about Lambeau Field.
I've never played there. I've heard a lot of great things. I've never played there.
Just watching games there, even in the worst winter weather, the grass at Lambeau Field always looks pristine.
Yeah.
No matter what time of the season it is.
Yeah.
And it's how they treat it, how they They have like a water system underneath it, water pumps underneath it. Why can't every team in the NFL duplicate what the Packers do?
That's a great question. I think you look at some teams that have grass. For example, Steelers. For example, Philly. Like you said, they have colleges play there. Temple plays there for
Temple, Pittsburgh,
and then you got Pitt that plays. With New York, New York is such a, it's New York City. A lot of people come in here to MetLife and to perform. And I went to the Rangers Devils Islanders game. I think a week or two ago.
Yeah, well, I went to the Devils Flyers game. That was much funner.
Yeah, but you have a lot of things that come through that stadium. So
yeah,
it kind of doesn't. I mean, I guess in a sense, it makes sense for MetLife to be grass. I know it was prior, but it's hard, Yeah. And I think it should be simple. It should be simple. If they're able to do it in Green Bay and Lambeau Field, and every year it's consistent like that.
I know next year Notre Dame's got a game scheduled at MetLife.
Really?
Yeah,
Who
they're playing Navy.
Navy. Oh, that should be a fun one. That should be a fun one.
The chicken thighs came out perfect. There we go. Doesn't that look good? That looks very nice. Get some of our homemade chips, put them on the plate. Time to play Demio. Time to play Demio.
Nice.
It was easy to follow, easy to work with. It was an easy recipe. It was like one of those recipes that you could make just coming home on a Thursday night. My great grandparents actually are from Naples.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Your great grandparents?
Yes.
So your parents were born here?
My parents were born here. My father's half Italian, half Irish.
Okay.
My grandmother was the baby of the family, and she was born in America.
Okay.
And but her parents are from Naples.
Ah, that's great. That's where I was born.
Yeah.
My mother's Barese, which is it's on the Adriatic side. But I was actually born in Naples. My father was born in La Provincia di Salerno, near Salerno, in the province of Salerno, called Torre Orsaia. And it's a beautiful mountaintop town. Missed that place. I have to get back there someday. But my father lived, in Naples, and that's where I was born with my brother Marco. My other sister and my other brother Antonio, Ines and Antonio, they were born in Bari.
Yeah. Seton Hall means a lot to me. A lot of people may not know this, but my grandfather's cousin, Monsignor Edward Fleming, was once president of Seton Hall and worked to save the basketball program when it was going through a crisis. And the reason why there's a Division I program at Seton Hall is a lot to do with Monsignor Fleming, and he was inducted into the Seton Hall Athletic Hall of Fame in 1986. So who's going to take the awards in the NFL this year?
Oh, are you trying to get me riled up on an early morning, Frank? Are you trying to get me riled up? Who could you possibly put over TJ Watt for Defensive Player of the Year?
Miles Garrett.
He's an unbelievable player. Yeah, it's okay. He'll get checked up today. I mean, it shouldn't be. Hopefully, it's not terrible, but I think it's a little. We'll see.
Well, I know you're rooting for the damn Dolphins to win tonight.
That's a fact. I'm with you tonight, so I'll be grinding. Yeah, grinding with you.
Yes.
What do you think about them tonight?
I just don't feel good. Too many injuries. No Mostert, no Waddle. The entire defense is just decimated. Jerome Baker, Jalen Phillips on it. By the way, I would love to just like the turf at MetLife Stadium to rip it up with my hands.
Yeah.
Because I am 20 players. You tell me 20 players have torn their ACLs and their Achilles on that field, and the Jets and Giants. It's okay. It's fine.
It's a lot of data. It's a lot of data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Phillips went down. That was horrible.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't touch him. It's just like, because the field is such poor condition. You have this $1 billion stadium, which, by the way, Giant Stadium was better than this stadium. This stadium looks like a giant air conditioning unit. It's the ugliest stadium in the league. There's no frills in the stadium. I went into the bathroom on Black Friday. There was like no security. There's like 300 people in a bathroom that's like, it was like a real danger.
Remember the guy that pulled off?
Yeah, like they're trying to follow me into the stall.
What?
Yes.
Follow you into the stall?
Yes.
Luckily you got your bodyguard here.
One thing that's noticeable is that when I was growing up, at least the first it was the Canadian teams won the Stanley Cup. There hasn't been a Canadian team that's won the Stanley Cup, and it's hard to believe, since 1993. Could Vancouver or Edmonton, the winner of that series, can they be the one to break through, break that drought?
Wow. I mean, the Vancouver Canucks definitely can. I mean, Elias Pettersson, he woke up in Game 5. You saw him last night. He looked unbelievable, couple big plays. And by the way, I want to talk about him for a second because it is important. We're talking about Edmonton and Vancouver, two teams, right, that could get there. But if I'm talking about Vancouver solely, who had one of the best seasons that we've seen in a long time, they've been terrible for a while. And Rick Tocchet comes in, changes the whole culture of that team. JT Miller, which team wouldn't take JT Miller on their team right now? Elias Pettersson's making, what, $11 million a year right now? If that guy plays 80% of what he can play moving forward, oh my God. I don't see Edmonton beating them in a 7-game, I just don't. Not if they're healthy. Not if Vancouver's healthy and they continue to get the great goaltending that they're getting. With Edmonton, it's the goaltending that's hurting them. I hate to say it.
We were talking about
it's the goaltending and the defense. They just, and I don't even want to talk about defense because every time I mention defense, everybody thinks that I'm shitting on everybody's defense because they never took me on their team before I retired. So everybody always thinks whenever I talk about defense, they're like, oh yeah, he's got a thing for Edmonton. He's got a thing. No, it's just
every year it's the same story.
Yeah, man. I really haven't heard much.
I kind of do. I'm having a fan moment right now, fangirl moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the man right here, so I'm glad he's just letting me walk with him.
How's it going?
Hello. Can I hello you too?
Hello. Nice to meet you. Be careful way up. Yeah. Enjoy your night.
Thank you.
Well, my grandfather fought in the Pacific.
Did he?
Lost all his teeth.
Lost all his what?
Teeth.
In the war?
Yeah.
He get getting a bar brawl?
I think that.
How did he lose all his teeth in a war?
I think maybe a bomb.
What happened to your grandpa's teeth?
I think maybe a bomb. I never got the full details, but he actually drove the amphibian duck boats onto the land.
Salute to Frank's grandpa driving the amphibian duck boats with no teeth.
I mean, so I think.
You're not going to take our freedom. I don't have any teeth, but that's fine. So I got duck boats, bitch. Now what?
So ask for someone is to play hard, right?
Hey,
Frankie, what up? What up? I see you, Frankie. Frankie got love out here in the New York streets.
It's crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is Frank. This is Frankie. This is him.
You act like you're the only one with feelings. They have feelings.
Yeah, but all but one team in the Mountain West was gone by the second round.
Do you celebrate Christmas?
Yes.
Do you give nice presents to people?
Yeah, I try.
Are you happy when you give them presents and the way they react to receiving a present from you? I mean, other people have feelings.
Yeah, well, the Big East deserved 5 teams. Involvement from part of my take with Big Cat PFT with the Water Dogs.
Those guys are the best. Do you know they named the Water Dogs?
I did not know they actually chose that name.
Yeah, they chose the name, so it's them. We have them to blame.
There are worse names out there. I mean, come on, we got the...
People love dogs. People love dogs.
I mean, we got the Washington Commanders and the Cleveland Guardians.
That's true. That's true. No, we, those guys are so great. They had me on PMT for the first time the week before our inaugural season in 2019. And we just had a laugh at the stereotypes in lacrosse, my wage previously. That interview actually made our documentary that's on Hulu called Fate of a Sport, where Big Cat was like, you got paid how much as a rookie? I was like $6,000. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's the minimum wage.
What I love about those guys is their mind for branding and their touch and their creativity, what we were just talking about earlier, where a lot of leagues miss. So when we made our first expansion announcement, I picked up the phone and was like, hey, Big Cat, what do you think? You guys want to, first of all, break this moose, and then second of all, name the team. He goes, come on the show, let's talk about it. So I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought I was prepared for them to be like, this is the name, take it or leave it, but they gave us a chance to take back 12 names to our audience. Our audience voted, they decided, and we announced.
Listen, man, I want to know how much weight you lost.
Well, I started, my heaviest was 2016. I was over 500.
Oh my God.
And I got down a little bit. I got down under 400, and then the pandemic put me back over like 425, 430. Oh, man. And I started losing weight again.
Yeah.
And then I was 380 in August.
380, wow.
And now
Coming
I'm
down,
333.
man.
And
that's great.
This is the 199th consecutive walk. It's been great.
Congratulations,
no,
man.
thanks.
I remember when we first met, I think you were somewhere in the 400s or
yeah,
4
it's probably
something.
near 400 at that time.
Yeah.
Of course, we both like the same pizza place.
Yeah, exactly.
Calabria's.
Calabria. That's phenomenal pizza.
Gabby is fantastic. Her family's fantastic.
Yeah.
They
Good
make
people.
great thin crust pizza. Dave gave it an 8.9.
Oh, fantastic. That's great.
It's like one of the. And I love thin crust pizza.
Me too. Yeah.
I know you're big on the rail system. You love the rail system.
Yeah, and they're raising our rates 30% over the next 6 years, starting with a 15% raise in July.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you're on top of this.
For trains that are falling apart, that are filthy. And the reason why we're getting this raise is they built a new office for the executives for New Jersey Transit in Newark, next to Newark Penn Station.
Yeah, but the executives need a nice place to go to work.
They could go to Newark Penn Station.
But they need a nice place to go to work. They got to have like the coffee station. They got to have snacks in the middle of the day. You know, if there's ever some sort of an emergency, they got to call their families first, make sure they're okay, and then
they could have an office in Newark Penn Station. Okay. They could clean up Newark Penn Station for everybody.
All right, well, they're trying to clean it up.
Yeah, they only need to do is paint the rails.
Paint the rails, okay. But I know this is a big stickler for you. Like you hate mass transit, but you use it.
Yeah. Well, New York, I would say the New York City subway is probably how all mass transit should work. It's probably the best. The one that's not been released yet, it's going to be released soon. Dwight Gooden.
Woo!
Dwight Gooden. Probably the number one reason why I'm a Mets fan is Dwight Gooden. Dwight Gooden, it just, I forgot how much I just love Dwight Gooden because it ended poorly, you know, and Dwight Gooden has his issues that every time he gets in trouble, it breaks my heart. But I'm glad he's actually doing well now.
Yeah.
The Mets retired his number.
Should have, and justifiably so.
And I just remember he had that big poster. It was on a building on 9th Avenue and around 42nd Street.
Yeah.
Right near the Lincoln Tunnel. So if I came into Manhattan, I would take the D-Camp bus. And as you're pulling into the bus terminal, you saw that Dwight Gooden. That was like, okay, I'm in New York now.
Right.
There's Dwight Gooden.
Right. Did it bother you when he went to the Yankees? I'm sure you didn't love that. I was at his no-hitter.
I didn't love it, but I was kind of glad to see him have success with the Yankees.
Yeah, that was, I forget the year. I think it was 95.
96.
Was the no-hitter? It was the World Series year.
96.
He
was actually suspended the entire 95 season.
Right. I just remember it being sorry, go ahead, buddy. I remember it being just a really random game versus the Mariners. My friends had tickets. I don't even think all of us had driver's licenses at the time. I think one of our friends just took his mother's car and drove us to the Bronx. Seats were okay. And then, sixth inning, you just look up, it's like, oh shit, Dwight Gooden's throwing a no-hitter.
You drop a little more, you could go like Adams and just skinny dip, just cannonball nude right in here. Come back for a triumphant nude cannonball.
I mean, how many people travel with the Cup?
There's 4 of us that will do the main travel, and we have a few other people that will help out, maybe on a weekend or a week, depending on how busy we are. And this year, well, actually last summer, we had one of our full-time employees from the Hockey Hall of Fame, a woman, first time a female has been considered to be as a cup keeper. So we've had a new addition. Look at the cup tonight now.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Nice.
The cold is really kind of.
I see how it shines, and then when
made it frosty.
Yeah, it kind of like it came out of the freezer.
Right.
The best thing about Sopranos is how North Jersey it is.
Yes,
everyone
that's right.
can recognize everything. If you grew up in North Jersey, you recognize something from it. I have lived either on or near the Bloomfield Avenue my whole life.
Yeah?
Like, I've never been more than 2 miles away from Bloomfield Avenue.
Wow. Oh,
my
man.
whole life. And
Yeah.
it's like that avenue just means my whole life. I lived a few blocks off of here for 10 years, and I moved a little further into Bloomfield a little bit later. Then I moved into Belleville, and now I'm back over close to Bloomfield Avenue again. It's like it's always been there.
You know. Yeah, you could take the man out of New Jersey, but you can't, take New Jersey out of the man, right?
I mean, my grandmother grew up on 10th Street.
Yeah.
She lived on 10th Street in North 10th Street in North, just like a half block in from Bloomfield Avenue. So it's always been there, Bloomfield Avenue, and they've always talked about Bloomfield Avenue on The Sopranos.
That's true. That's true.
Have you ever been down here at the North Cove Marina?
I've never been to the North Cove Marina. I've been to Battery Park.
But do you like the North Cove Marina? You
Looks
like it?
very nice.
You got Jersey City right across the way over there. There she is, Lady Liberty to your left.
By the way, that belongs to New Jersey.
You can say whatever you want. It belongs to America. It was a gift of France. So stop saying whether you want to pay your tax dollars to upkeep it. Fine, I'm good with that.
But I'd also like the tourism money.
It should be a federal landmark, which it is, and you should respect it as such. And stop arguing with me about that.
But it belongs to New Jersey.
No, it doesn't. It belongs to all of us. Stop with your nonsense with the Jersey and this and that. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And I'm sure you've been opinionated about me because I know you're a big Devils fan. This is honest to God truth. I've never seen a tweet or a video about it, and I want you to be honest, Frank, about what you thought.
I was pretty harsh, especially the first two years with the Devils.
Okay.
Because I was actually at the event. When they brought you in, they put the robe on, the Subinator.
Yeah.
They brought a bunch of season ticket holders in. I was there. I was there for that.
Yeah.
New York's hard to play, too. There's the pressure and the spotlights. And I guess guys like me sometimes don't make it that easy.
You're the one causing all those issues.
Well, Trevor May says that.
Trevor May blames it on you?
Trevor May says I'm toxic.
Toxic?
Yes. Like all the buses in the Bronx, all the Yankees got this buzz.
And nobody's there.
And the Mets had like 5,000 people
and
for
I
a doubleheader.
said, they gotta get this guy. There's nobody there. They're dead on their feet. You know what? From the day he arrived, they averaged 32,000 fans a game the rest of the year. He paid off his salary the first year he was there. And how exciting was he year after year after year? The guy was unbelievable. And I had, he was tough with the media because he was very quiet. He didn't want to do a lot. I always had a good relationship with him because his mother liked me because she said I said nice things about him. The bottom line was he was always a favorite of mine. You know who the good guys were? The guys that really, Todd Zeal, one of the great guys ever.
Yeah.
Great guy. Timmy Toffel was a good guy. Hojo was a good guy.
Hojo's another one of my favorites.
Yeah, really good guy, too. A very, very good guy. I'll tell you who was a good guy. And I heard bad things about him all the time before he came here and when he was coming here. And turned out to be a great guy, Terry Collins. One of the nicest guys I ever met in baseball. Turned out to be a terrific guy. I
didn't quite
love Terry
appreciate
Collins.
him when he was manager, but he found ways to get the best out of that team.
I like Terry Collins. Everyone said he was a hard ass. The players didn't like him. I never saw any of that with the team. I loved Terry Collins. And you know what? When he had players, he did a good job. And you know what? He gave you a moment. Now, we all know it was a tough finish, but boy, that was a fun year before that, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hey, Buffalo, you shouldn't have games in the snow.
Are you mad they're not building a dome in Buffalo? No, because you should have snow games. You should have heat games. You should have rain games. Yeah. I like a little character. I like a little.
Yeah.
Like there should be rivalries. Everything is a little too like the jersey swaps and everybody does everything. It's all
I hate
buddy
that.
buddy out there.
I hate the jersey swaps. If I was an athlete, if I was a good player, if I could do things like this, I'd be one of those guys before the game. Don't even talk to me. Don't even get away from me. Get away from me. I would not want to talk to anyone. I'd be one of these guys like if I was like a first baseman in baseball, and standing in first base and then someone wants to talk to me, I go, "Fuck you." Play the game.
I always say too, the greatest movie, sports movie that has not been made yet, and I don't know if it ever will get made, is based on the book The Bad Guys.
Oh, I want that movie made.
You know,
I want that movie made. If I was a producer,
I went after the rights several times. I think I got really close at one point, and then kind of COVID happened. I think someone might have the rights now because that writer, all his books
Jeff
are starting to get. Perlman's books are all.
He made Winning Time.
Winning Time.
Winning Time. I hate the Lakers, and I loved Winning Time.
Yeah.
I hate the Lakers, and I loved Winning Time.
The thing with Winning Time that I was so pleasantly surprised about was like I didn't think you would ever be able to cast Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, like guys who could act and pull off the basketball and look like the guys.
Well, you know,
and they did it. It was pretty perfect.
The guy who played Norm Nixon,
yeah,
is actually Norm Nixon's son.
Right, but the guy who played Magic, like looked like Magic, sounded like Magic, moved like Magic, and then the guy who played Larry Bird, that was just they were showing off at that point.
Yeah,
like look how good we nailed this.
And Adrian Brody did such a great job as Pat Riley.
Yeah. So that would be like if you could pick a sports movie that's out there that's never been made that you would like to see, it would be 86 Mets.
Bad Guys 1.
Bad Guys 1.
And you begin it off with that crazy plane ride.
Look at that.
Love salt.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I have seen that. The doctors cannot love the salt pouch, Frank.
What?
That can't be good for this. I don't know if that's. It's unbelievable. I mean, when I watch the Devils videos and you whip out the salt pouch and you dump salt on, I mean that's it's just chicken tenders, salt. Fries already have salt.
First time he came over, I couldn't believe it.
It's unbelievable. That is
I shut up. You know, I wasn't saying nothing.
I've never brought it up. I'm glad Jason did. Frank, as long as Jason bring it up, you need to use less motherfucking salt.
Frank, if you ever are close to missing a weigh-in, one you want to hit, just stop eating salt for 1 week and you'll drop 15 pounds in a heartbeat. Pure water weight. Oh, your body would, yeah. No, we can't cold turkey it. We got to go to Salt Anonymous.
Now, who are some players to look out for this upcoming year for Rutgers?
So like I just said, Kyle Monunga, who's a Big Ten leading rusher last year, is coming back. I'm so happy that he'll be back. Aaron Lewis, a defensive end, wreaking havoc. Tareem Powell, our middle linebacker, battling back from adversity from 2 injuries that he just had, but he'll be ready for the season, ready to go. Those are all NFL talent, NFL players.
Like what you've become. Like the videos of you, like you can't go to a stadium, people go berserk. When you walk out into the world and you realize that you like the people, they love you. Like this walk stuff, like when I sent you on the Twitter, I'm sincere. People are rooting for you there. They're thrilled to see what you're doing. Better on yourself, light on your feet on the lacrosse field, all that stuff.
It's good.
Do you get what that is?
Oh yeah, it's
awesome.
Great.
Yeah,
it's great, and I love the fans. It's great 90% of the time.
Here we go. But what happens?
There's times
the 10%. What happens in the 10%?
It just when I get overwhelmed.
Give the man some room.
Give him some room. I got a little overwhelmed on Saturday night. Just like I think I must have taken like 200 pictures at this Stadium Series event at the MetLife Stadium, and it was either go out in the concourse and be bombarded, or sit at your seat and be cold.
So I think dive in the deep end, go be with the people. But here's my thought on that. I always say I'm a mirror. If people you reflect back with people, if people are kind, then it's easy to reflect.
Oh yeah.
Now I shouldn't say always. Occasionally there's that person that decides they want to be an asshole.
Oh.
And I always say that if you're going to say that I was an asshole, I'll say you're right. But remember, you are an asshole first.
I mean,
that's important.
I had one guy.
I'll never be that first. Never be that first. But you can be that second because then it's not unfair. And it's not unreasonable to just say, give me a second. Like, you're not Santa Claus at the mall. You can say, just give me a second. I'm happy to meet everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly how I feel. This Black Friday game, the Jets-Dolphins, some guy literally grabs me by the nape of the neck.
That was my fault, definitely. That was my fault.
And it's like, and he's like screaming in my ear, and like push him off me. It's like, hey, what's wrong about you?
I know you're a Dolphin guy.
Oh, what a disappointing
Talk about
finish.
crash and burn. Now, one thing to be fair,
Injuries. It was
they
all
did
injuries.
have a million injuries on defense, especially.
Well, their entire linebacking crew was gone.
My God, I mean, they had a good defense too, both when they were healthy. They really did. I mean, the head coach is a trip. He really is. But he has some interesting thoughts. He really, guys have caught. You know how if a guy has really done something interesting, every team in the league is copying what he does. Every team. So when you have a guy who does that and is that innovative, you found something. And he's a unusual guy. There's no question about it. But he has come up with some stuff that people copy. Everyone in the league they're all copycats. They'll always copy something that works, and everybody will use it. And they're all using stuff that he's come up with. Every team.
Is there anything in sports that brings you joy?
I haven't had any real joy since. Well, I had a little bit of joy last year.
Okay.
Game 7, walking out of that arena. That was one of my favorite experiences.
Yeah, but then you lost the next series, so it doesn't matter. You didn't win a championship.
No, but it was a pleasant enough season that I had hope. And then it all just got this year.
They would let you guys just do an impromptu commencement speech right now?
I did one last week. I don't know. It got rave reviews. Maybe they would let us. Who's graduating?
Who cares?
Who cares? That's right.
Congratulations, class of 2024.
Look at that.
Blue and white.
Seems like a Wednesday morning is kind of an odd time for a graduation. I am going to say that.
Well, 24 years ago, I graduated on a Monday morning, so.
You did?
Yeah.
From where?
Montclair State University. You're coming out with NCAA 25 this year.
Yes.
You could get back into the action
I
there.
hope that. I see, I've never got to be in a college game. Back in the days, you used to, there'll be these guys who are really good at creating rosters, and you could download yourself, and you could download your whole roster, your class. But I hope that they have some legacy play, where they have some of the top guys from LSU or Penn State, and I don't know. I hope I'll make that list. But that'll be fun if I can.
Well, you could be the same backfield as Franco Harris.
Come on, man. Look at that. I don't see any team. If you got me, Franco, in the backfield, I think that's a hard team to stop in the college football game.
I got one bone to pick you about the series Entourage.
Okay.
Now, you guys are supposed to be from Queens in the show.
In the show,
Yes.
correct. Yes, we're Queens guys, which that was written in before, from the very beginning.
How come you're all Yankee fans?
It's a very simple answer. Doug Ellen, our show creator, grew up actually in Long Island, right? So when he's writing the show, he's a Yankees, Giants, Knicks, and then I don't think he hates the Rangers, but he's an Islander fan, obviously, Long Island.
well.
So he doesn't. I don't think he hates the Knicks. I mean, hates the Rangers, but that's it. But
Islander fans hate the Rangers.
Of course. But it was weird because in the pilot of Entourage, where we get the dog, and the dog attacks me, I'm in a Rangers jersey. I'm surprised he let that go. I'm in a Yankee jersey in the pilot. So, and the Knicks. Now that I think about it, I wore a Rangers jersey. I never actually thought about this. My character wore a Ranger jersey, a Knicks jersey, and a Yankees jersey, all in the pilot episode. So I guess you put that out there. That's a good bone to pick, though. I see what you're saying.
I mean, Queens. You're from Queens.
Yeah.
That's not country. What are some of your favorite trips you've had with the Cub?
There's so many, it's hard to remember them all, but I remember my first time going to Europe. It was a lot of fun. It was in 2011. The Boston Bruins had won that year, and I was able to go to Finland and Slovakia, and it was just a great experience for me at that time. But since then, I've been to probably a dozen countries around the world. I remember going to Russia with Alexander Ovechkin, and he put $15,000 worth of caviar inside the bowl. So that was a very unique experience there too. We've had a couple of first-time winners in recent years with St. Louis,
Vegas,
and Vegas.
Now the current Hall of Fame, that used to be a bank.
Yes.
And when you walk and see the original cup, you're actually walking into a bank vault.
Yes, you
and
do.
they have the cup on display in the middle of this room with this beautiful light shining in. It's like, it's absolutely stunning how they have the cup set up here.
It's priceless, I would think, because you can't replace the history with all the players that have ever touched this cup and the way it's been passed around. But there is an insurance value on it, of course. 1.5 million from what I know of, but again, you cannot replace the history, so it is priceless.
Oh, Paulie Walnuts was my favorite character on the show overall.
Right? He was phenomenal, man.
He was just like
He's standing
so
next to me,
crazy.
and he says Paulie Walnuts is his favorite character. I'm just kidding.
Well, my favorite Furio scene is like when there's so many great Furio scenes, and one of my favorite ones is when you get shot at the card game. You had to go. You had to go.
Mannaggia la madonna, sti piezzi in merda, mi hanno sparato!
One thing I would want to do is just go run through the streets of Manhattan going, you can't have this, you can't have this. Hey, Rangers. Yeah. You know, MC Hammer comes out every year to talk to the Rangers and goes, can't touch this, do. Can't touch this.
You can walk around New Jersey and say, look what we won, but instead you want to go to New York and taunt everyone.
So tell me about your walk. How's it been? So how much weight have you dropped? How many days in a row is the walk?
Well, my weigh-ins today, it's 128 straight days.
120. And are you dieting at the same time, at least watching what you eat?
I'm cutting back.
Okay, cutting back. Don't eat after 8 o'clock at night is a huge key. That is, if you can do that, that's step number one. Don't eat late at night. Number two, you walked 128 days in a row. How many pounds have you lost?
Well, I'm weighing today, but my last weigh-in I was at 343.
And you started at?
Around 380.
Very good. Keep it up. That's good. If you do it slow, I'm going to tell you something. I worked for CBS for years. I did college basketball, college football, the NCAA tournament, the NFL Today.
Oh, I remember you on college football. When,
right.
I remember the 1990 Cotton Bowl where you were about to basically, like Miami, just like...
Dennis Erickson and I got into a brawl. Oh, man, he wanted to take my head off after that. That was the craziest game. I did that Cotton Bowl, and they were hitting guys, getting 15-yard penalties, sacking the quarterback, and then getting up and getting another 15-yard penalty. I mean, it was crazy.
Miami had over 200 yards in penalties and won the game by 40 points.
Oh, they killed Texas, and they were doing it on purpose.
And then you had Randall Hill going up the tunnel, like gyrating.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And I went after them, and then he went after me. Dennis Erickson and I hated each other.
That's when he came up with the Miami penalties.
He's a good coach.
He came up with the Miami penalties, the celebration because of that game.
Absolutely, and I'm telling you something, they were out of control.
What happened was they went to that game, they had like 2 bad losses that year.
Yep.
And they went to that game with a chip on their shoulder. That we can't win a national championship. We can't win a national championship,
right.
But we're going to go out there just to embarrass Texas.
And the gloves are off. We're not behaving. We're doing whatever we want today.
It wasn't like the combo committee didn't want to give them the trophy. It was it was like they were like just like
I've never seen a game like that was that one-sided, and the team was deliberately knocking guys down and hitting guys on purpose. They were actually just hitting guys for the sake of hitting them.
It was a shameful performance.
It was unbelievable, and I went crazy about it, and then Erickson went crazy on me, and we went back and forth.
Who has been some of your favorite walks?
That is Scott Van Pelt.
You did Scott? Okay.
Yep. Mike Francesa, Saquon Barkley. That's coming out in a few weeks.
Ooh.
Yeah. It looks like the Giants didn't really want to do anything to try to keep him.
Yeah.
I mean, but J.J. Watt was another good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and of course Dave Portnoy.
Okay.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only getting started. This is gonna be a great thing.
I know that you like to rant about things, and I was watching you ranting about the Mets opening weekend. I mean, Can we calm down? We got 162 games to go.
And I actually think they're legitimately garbage.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything that's going to happen this year that's good. I don't know about their prospects. I've seen too many prospects come up and be bust.
Do you have an understanding that there are a lot of Met fans that hate the fact that you're so negative?
I've just been broken.
Really?
Yes.
That's your explanation?
I've been broken.
Okay.
2007 to 2022, blowing a 10.5 game lead.
Yes.
With Ben Tierney, it's over.
But you got to remember, me and Craig Carton started in 2007.
I know that, Boomer. You started
we thought
in
we had all the
September.
great. We thought we had all the pitching and everything, and we fell apart.
Go back a year ago, February of 23. You're like, this is it. We're gonna have a parade.
I thought they had a good chance to win last year. Yes.
I get it.
And then Diaz's injury and that World Baseball. I hate the World Baseball Classic.
Well, yeah, because your guy hurt his arm.
Me.
How about this, Frank? How about we get? I mean, can we take this all in just a moment? It's like here we are.
Of course, yeah.
The Capitol, the monument, Lincoln Memorial under construction. But I mean, you know, here was my whole idea. My whole thought was, and it doesn't have to happen yet. We just started walking and talking. But at the end of this, if we hug like Forrest Gump and Jenny, like I don't know if we go in here. I think we get arrested if we do.
I don't think it's a good idea.
I don't want to go to jail. I don't want you in the who's gal. I don't need that. But I feel like there's nothing more American than Frank becoming what you are. You're an icon. You're an American icon. And I felt like us walking here, we don't have to bury the hatchet. As I said, I have no illusions that at the end of this, you're still going to be like, fuck Van Pelt. That's fine. It's fine. It's okay. But it's kind of cool. Like this is the nation's capital. We're on a walk.
So what was your favorite episode? I could tell you mine right away. It was the Pine Barrens. Phenomenal. That was one of the funniest episodes I can remember watching, man. Tony Sirico's lines, classic. He always had the most classic lines on the show.
So now before the September 7th game, you're going to have a special walk, I understand.
Yeah,
this
so
year.
Every year I do my 5K walk to believe, which we always had here in the stadium in June, but we want to get more of the Rutgers community involved, so we said we're going to switch it up this year. We're challenging people to do the 5K on their own from now until August 30th. Do it on your own, your way, run, walk, roll, do your 5K, you sign up, and then on that day, we're going to meet at the top of Scarlet Knight Way, and we always do this big Jersey-themed boardwalk where you come down the boardwalk, you get to enjoy all the food trucks, the rides and stuff. But we're all going to meet at the top of there, walk down the boardwalk together, and then we're going to go into a huge tailgate and then obviously have a lot of fun there, and then go into the game when we take on versus Akron. It's going to be a special day on September 7th. I can't wait to see everyone out here. But like I said, do the 5K your way on your time period, and then it's going to be a celebration that day. I'm telling you, it's going to be special. We're going to make it on Scott Van Pelt's the best thing he saw that day.
Now, how did that get set up with you co-owning a team with
it was
Michael Jordan?
It really was an accident. I met Michael Jordan at a Charlotte Hornets game. He was obviously sitting courtside with his team. This was in the early years of him owning it. I was a courtside season ticket holder, and I was going to, the halfway break house or whatever during halftime. Well, he had a security pull me aside and ask to meet me. And so, of course, I am completely starstruck. And so he gets my phone number, and then the second half of the game, he's asking me all these racing questions like, well, why would, last week, why would you pit in this scenario versus just staying out? And I'm like, wait a minute, this guy watches NASCAR. I was just blown away by it. Well, that started a friendship that essentially led to a year later me saying, hey man, why don't you make my suit, my shoes, my gloves? He's like, done. So, he calls up the people, the Nike and the Jordan brand, they start making all my gear, and it just changed a lot of things. So I think that relationship that I built with him, that friendship, then turned into us playing golf together, doing things together, talking racing together. And, I didn't realize that his mom and dad used to take him to the NASCAR races when he was a kid with his brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So that's where
Wilmington.
That's right. He went to Darlington. He went to Darlington. He went to Talladega. He went to Charlotte. A lot of the tracks that we go to still today. So that grew his passion for racing.
If you have any interest in working it out.
Hey, I worked it out with Scott Van Pelt.
There you, Scott and you and Scott were on bad terms?
He always seems so happy when my teams lose.
Right. You thought he took joy in the Mets
Yes.
losing.
Let me just put it this way. I am a broken Mets fan. It's not even like
I don't believe that. Because if they go off and start winning here, you're going to be jumping right back on that bandwagon.
I just don't see it coming anytime soon.
Oh, they got a chance. Everybody's got a chance. It's early.
You have two talented drivers, so you have notable racers.
Yeah,
too.
Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, driving the 23 and the 45.
I love that too. I love that it's his numbers.
Yeah, and so it's certainly special to him. I love it personally as well. I'm glad those numbers were available. But yeah, we're a new team in the sense of, most of the teams that are successful nowadays have been around for decades and decades.
Oh, you run race for one of the greatest teams.
Yes, I'm with one of the best teams in Joe Gibbs Racing. Them and Hendrick Motorsports honestly win the bulk of the races.
It's amazing what Joe Gibbs has done. He's a Hall of Fame NFL coach with 3 Super Bowls, and then he's now a successful race car owner.
That tells you something about his character, right? If you were able to be a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame NASCAR team owner, it clearly means you're good with people and you know how to put the right people in the right places to succeed.
I mean, could you imagine being a Jets fan? I mean, you just think about this. It's almost like Kevin with the chili, what happened to the Jets last year. The ceremonies, fireworks going off, and then Aaron Rodgers comes running out. Everyone thinks it's going to be the greatest thing, and then 3 plays in, out for the season.
Yeah, I was there. It was the worst thing in sports I've ever witnessed.
Racing is a sport where luck is involved, and it's not. Luck is a very loose term that people use, but when you're competing in a championship in any other sport, it's one-on-one. Your team versus the other team. The difference in NASCAR is it's 1 against 3, but there's 33 other guys out there that can completely screw up your day.
I mean, I was watching the Daytona this year, and there was the wreck that Joey Logano was looked like he was having a great day. And then,
yes.
Like a multiple car pileup that he just couldn't avoid. It was just like
so he didn't make the mistake. Someone else did that wasn't even part of the championship.
No, it was like a lapped car spun into another car and caused a domino, just changed the whole race.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been in those scenarios. I think in 2019 or 2020, I forget which year it was, but it's me and Truex leading the race, and it's going to come down to us. And then somebody running 32nd wrecked, caused a caution. Kyle Larson's pit crew gets about P1 in the pits. Kyle Larson wins the championship.
And what's funny is the Mets owner hates me. He hates me.
Come on,
he won't do a walk with me.
Frank.
He won't do a walk with me. Yeah, Steve Cohen, if he knows that he could settle and squash a lot of beefs and make a lot of things good if he goes on a walk with me.
Talking to Phil Jackson a lot, even when he was with us with the Knicks, I love picking his brain about everything. Life, coaching Michael, coaching Kobe, and the one thing that he said even then is that Michael learned to be a leader, even though he was a great competitor. He just learned to be a good leader over those years too, and to kind of understand how to drive his teammates the way he was driven.
A couple of freak of natures in baseball. Nolan Ryan was a freak of nature. Ricky Henderson was a freak of nature. He never even concentrated to play baseball, and he played it on a level where, there were years when he was leading off for the Yankees and Mattingly was in the lineup. Mattingly, I'll be honest, I love Mattingly, and he was a great player in those days. But he got 60 RBIs on fly balls and groundouts because he was standing on third base every time he came up with 1 out. He's on third base with no out. Every time Mattingly came up, Mattingly just had to make contact to get an RBI.
That's productive hitting.
It was unbelievable. Because Ricky was on third base every time he turned around. I never saw any. Gene Michael told me, he said, the 2 greatest talents I ever saw. He said, I really could include it to 3, Mike. I said, okay. I'm playing golf with Stick one day, and Stick was a great talent evaluator. He said, the 3 greatest talents I've ever seen in baseball. Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Ricky Henderson. He said the 3 greatest physical talents I ever saw in baseball. That was from Gene Michael.
Because New Yorkers aren't people that go see things, but this is a place where every New Yorker, everybody in the world should come.
Yeah.
Just to be reminded of how horrific 9/11 truly was here and the impact that it had on this city.
Hi. Hey, just say hi. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can we get some fashion? You're from FIT, right?
Yes, I'm from FIT. How's it going?
Can you give both of us some fashion advice?
You don't need any fashion advice. You guys look great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Dress like Kevin every day, and then we're good.
All right, thank you. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, you can do it real quick.
Yeah. Frank, get in.
Ryan, Frank, you got any advice?
There you go.
Any wisdom?
Any sage wisdom?
He just had some.
Oh my God.
Which is make your fashion accessible.
Yes, to the average everyday person.
For sure.
And more people wear it you want, and you'll get more known. And just think, all these companies that come out here that you could go buy at Walmart or anything, they see your label there. And then that builds your trust, and that's how you make it in the fashion world.
For sure. Awesome.
That's
Thank
it.
you. Thanks, guys.
I say follow your dreams. Actually, I stole that from him too. So, anyway, congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right.
Way to go.
Thanks, guys.
You're arguably the best player in baseball at that time. You were winning MVPs. Could have won back-to-back MVPs.
Right.
There was you finished second, I believe, in '86, right?
Right.
And the '85 season, you had what was it, 146 RBIs?
Yeah, somewhere in that range. I think it was 145, but who's counting it?
And '87, you had you tied the Dale Long record.
Right.
8 consecutive games of a home run, 6 grand slams. Now, why couldn't those teams take the next level back then?
Well, I was pretty young back then. So like at the beginning of your career, you don't really look at the teams like how are we being built or what are we doing. So you kind of just playing.
You're talking about your foundation.
Yes.
And your foundation is the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
Yeah, it's my foundation and my name.
I mean, I remember when your son Gunnar was diagnosed. This is like just after you got to the Jets, wasn't it?
That's exactly right. It was 1993. It was in the spring. It was around this time of year. So that was about 30 years ago.
And he was a kid. He was like, what, 3, 4?
Yes. He was diagnosed when he had just turned 3. And I felt like we needed to do something. And that's how I ended up on the 101st floor of the North Tower here, was because of a guy by the name of Howard Lutnick hired Timmy O'Brien. Timmy O'Brien said, I'm not coming unless Boomer can bring his foundation here and work for free and not pay any rent. And that's how I ended up here. And yeah, that's when Gunnar was diagnosed back in 1993.
And back then, it was like the diagnosis was like bleak. But it's amazing how in 30 years, and I think a lot of it has to do with the work of your foundation.
Well, it's a collective effort that started over 65 years ago by other parents who had cystic fibrosis kids who were dying at the age of 5 and 6 and 7. And they wanted to do something about it because nobody was doing anything about it because there is such a small group of people that suffer from the disease. So oddly enough, I meet Frank DeFord in 1989, who lost his daughter Alex to the disease at the age of 8. He gives a speech at a dinner that I'm at. It's so awe-inspiring that I asked him if I could get involved. And this is well before Gunnar's even born. And little would you know, 4 years later, Gunnar is diagnosed with that same disease. And so that's when the full press, for me anyway, started. And I found out how many people had lost so many people leading up to that, that I tried to do whatever I could and to use the platform that I had to raise as much money as I could.
Because that was the first time I ever heard about it, was when you made the announcement, you announced you're going to do all this stuff, and I actually followed Gunnar on Twitter.
Yes. So Gunnar actually, as it turns out, just had his 33rd birthday. When he was born, the median age was 19 for cystic fibrosis patients. He's not only 33 years old, but he's a graduate of Boston College, the Dartmouth Tuck School of Business. He has his own son, Casper, and he has another daughter on the way that's due in July.
Nice.
That is a miracle.
A ballpark tour for baseball. Maybe football will be next.
Are you doing all of them?
Yes.
Okay. Favorite so far? Don't be biased.
Well, I've done 4 so far for the tour.
Okay.
But of all the ballparks that I've been to so far, I like PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
That's a great one. I did, for real, I did. I shot something there. I thought that, with the city in the background.
That river walk. The river walk behind the bleachers is incredible.
Yep. Really cool. I agree with you there. But what about Dodger Stadium?
I have never been to Dodger Stadium.
Really?
Right.
Frank, you'll go as my guest. All right, we'll go. It's an unbelievable place.
Yeah, I gotta hit Dodger Stadium. I've only been to Los Angeles once.
Okay.
And it was in January. And personally, I think you should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I appreciate that.
I mean, I think that a lot of people have been overlooked. And considering that you're, for at least a 4 or 5 year period, the best player in baseball, I think that should be going to account. And so I think Keith Hernandez should be in for being the greatest defensive first baseman ever. If you look at the stats, all the most Gold Glove winners in every position, except first base, are all in the Hall of Fame.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know that. Keith was fun to watch.
Yes. So we used to design these cars from top to bottom. We, of course, had parameters in which we needed to, keep it in the box. But now all these cars are essentially, to make it in layman's terms, it's a 200-piece Lego set that you put it together. And you can put it together any way you want to, but you all have to run the exact same parts. Now, there are some parts that the teams still manufacture, and there's a lot of brackets and dashes and things like that, but anything performance related, every one of these cars are exactly the same.
So basically, even though it says Chevy or Ford or Toyota, it's all the same car.
Yeah, so what the new rules with the bodies of these cars, and why you see that they look so different, is that they actually have a box in which aerodynamically they have to fit into. So when the Toyotas develop a new Camry XSC like they did this year,
we still 23 and 45.
We still could not exceed the box that the Chevy was in or the Ford was in. So while we could improve it slightly, we're all still in such a small box that although the cars look different on the outside, they're basically the same.
Who's going to have a better season? The Jets or the Dolphins?
I think the Dolphins will.
Okay.
Just the Jets are the Jets. They always find a way to jet it up. I mean, I don't think their coach is a very good head coach, number one. Number two is, I remember when Dan Marino came back from his Achilles injury. I know it was 30 years ago, but Dan Marino was 10 years younger also, and he never was the same player again.
I think lots have happened in the world of medicine, Frank. I think he's going to be all right.
But he's still 41 years old. Boy, the battles that Jordan had at the Garden against the Knicks, I mean, there were nights where he just would decide, I'm going to score 50 tonight, and there's not anything anyone could do about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people ask me the toughest person to guard. I mean, that's obviously the first for me. I would say Tracy McGrady was probably the second one. But the thing about, Michael is he not only was he such a fierce competitor, he was very smart, right? He was very efficient and didn't waste any movement. And if you go back and look at even clips of him even back in North Carolina. In his early days in Chicago, you see how explosive he was. So usually when people are that explosive, they can get out of control, or they don't have the polished skill level early on. And Mike had all of that from day one.
Like, when did you start carrying a packet of salt?
Because about 10 years ago, New York's mayor signed a law where restaurants can no longer have salt on the table.
What?
Yes.
Is that still the case?
I don't know. But
there was a time where they didn't allow salt. So then you said, fuck it,
no,
I need my own packet.
It is true. And they actually went to court, and the courts said that you can't make that law.
Which mayor? Your favorite mayor?
Bloomberg. Oh. Yeah, this guy also wanted to ban large bottles of soda.
Right, the big gulps.
Yeah, in big gulps.
Yeah.
He wanted to have, you can only buy 8 ounces. And the beverage industry sued and says that you can't make laws like that.
So you when he banned salt, you said, somebody find me a pouch.
Yeah. It was actually a Mets coin purse giveaway at Citi Field.
It's been the same one?
Yes.
That's incredible. And you just refill it, what, daily, weekly?
A couple times a month.
He's opportunistic. He'll be at a restaurant, they got some extra salt packages, he just fucking ramsacks them.
That's incredible.
That's what my grandmother used to do. My grandmother used to go to Burger King and she'd go there and said, well, we just grab a whole packet of napkins, put it in her purse, grab a whole the ketchup packets, put it in her purse.
I almost started doing that with sriracha. When sriracha went on it became very rare. So I almost went to Chinese restaurant and swiped a pack of sriracha.
Unlike New York at night.
Let me ask you though, does this ever feel weird for you? You love it?
I love it.
You got fans everywhere?
Big fans.
All right, now, every time you come to the stadium, you get to look up right there, number 52.
Yeah.
What does it mean that Rutgers honors you in such a way? The only number retired by Rutgers football.
It's still surreal to me because I'm just a kid from Avondale, New Jersey, who came here to make my dream come true, break into the NFL, playing the game that I love. To be in the birthplace of college football with the only number ever retired, with all the greats that have come through here, the Paul Robesons of the world, Kenny Britts, Devin McCourty's, Ray Rice, and my number's up there. It's amazing to see. And every time I pass by it, it's just a moment to, just because my injury happened to me, it doesn't mean that I was going to let it take me out. And that's kind of what represents that perseverance of being able to just go through life and handle adversity.
I always ask my guy Stanford Steve this. What's your optimism meter for the Mets for this year? I looked at the win total. It's 82. So they're not supposed to be great. They're not supposed to suck. Optimism meter, is it always pegged at 0? Always?
It's now at 0, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I always say? Be optimistic because it costs the same. You're telling me optimism is just too expensive at this point.
I'm out of optimism. Last year broke me. Last year broke the last bit of optimism I had.
Was there a specific moment? Was it injuries? Was it trades? There were a few rants I saw, and I know I know it was my fault.
Edwin Diaz going down.
Oh, that was awful. And you definitely blame me for the injury, right? Was I smiling, head spinning?
Yeah. Well, it's not your head that spins.
It's not?
No, it's actually your logo that spins, the logo head that spins.
Oh, I thought it was my actual head, like Exorcist style.
No,
okay.
I always mean, I think you misinterpreted that.
I did. I thought it was my actual head. That's why I did that ridiculous dance just a minute ago.
No, it's actually the logo.
All right.
The SC logo in your head there for the Sports Center.
Maybe I could get them to stop the spinning. I don't know. I'll talk to somebody. I'll talk to them about that.
But that's what I mean by your logo. Yeah, but
okay. So the head. I always thought it was my head. I thought you thought I was there. I thought maybe you thought I was possessed by the devil as well, but I'm not. So that was it. Like, he got hurt,
and then the season was just such a nightmare. And of course, another big part of what you do is the Eric LeGrand Coffee House.
Ah, yes. So I started the coffee house during the pandemic. My goal was I wanted to bring unity to the community with a daily cup of believe. My motto's been believe since my injury. And I remember the world was at each other's throats, man. Everyone wanted to kill each other. I'm like, how can I just bring people together and then make them just forget about all the bullshit that's going on in the world? And I just thought, what do people want? What do they need? Coffee. So you come to my house and you drink a cup of coffee. It's just that daily affirmation, you know? Forget about all the shit that's going on in the world and just think about the positive things that you can do.
Now,
And I want to remind people every sip of that.
Of course, you have the coffee house, and I've seen Eric LeGrand coffee at the Prudential Center.
Yep. We
And
have
it's at several other places. You can order the coffee online.
Yep, another place you go order online. We had at the Prudential Center, as well as down by Bourbon too, who's been able to be out there and where I love seeing that throughout the New Jersey. We just launched our bourbon and also the state of New York. So Eric LeGrand, Kentucky Straight Bourbon as well. So take care of you in the morning, I'll take care of you in the evening too.
Saw a tweet you made yesterday about the Lakers and sitting
Oh,
LeBron.
come on. Listen, the NBA, you teed me up. How can you have a league, first of all, that has an in-league, in-season tournament?
That was the worst thing ever.
What was that? We dye the court, we change the court, and then we give them a trophy and give everybody a check for $500,000.
I can't
and we
believe
say,
the Lakers
what
actually
was the meaning of that?
The Lakers put a banner up. You know what I can't believe? The Lakers put a banner up. They may not even make the playoffs, and they got this Fugazi banner hanging out there.
Wait a second. And you know what? I've always loved the commissioner. I loved him, okay? I used to have a love-hate with David Stern. I loved the commissioner. The bottom line is, this was the worst idea in the history of mankind, okay? How can you have an in-season tournament for nothing? Okay, let's go this way. For nothing. It was for nothing. There was, you got a trophy and a check, okay? It was like having a camp production, okay? It was worthless. And then you have a league where you have a kid who saves up his dimes and nickels, or his father saves up, maybe he has a regular job, and going to an NBA game is not cheap.
No,
in
it's not.
Boston, in New York, in any of these places. It's almost a half a week's salary for some of these people to take a couple of kids to the game. And then you find out 10 minutes before the game that LeBron James and AD aren't playing, or you have a game that they ballyhoo for 2 weeks. Philadelphia at Denver, Jokic against Embiid. 10 minutes before the game, Embiid's not playing. Oh, and Maxi's not playing. And this guy, hey, in the NBA, you never know who is going to play.
Load management really is a load.
It is the worst thing. It has completely, and I'm an NBA guy. I love the NBA. It has completely devalued and destroyed the NBA regular season. The NBA regular season is junk. I like the playoffs because they all play, and you know what they're playing for.
Yeah.
But that in-season tournament shows you that they have a league that is devoid of any value in the regular season. How can you have a tournament inside your season?
I had a foundation office on the 101st floor of the North Tower, and we're... Say hi, Frank. See that? They're yelling for you, Frank. So we were on the 101st floor of the North Tower. That was the first building that got hit. And all of my buddies worked on the 105th floor. And we were in a company called Cantor Fitzgerald that lost over 650
Yeah, I remember
people.
Cantor Fitzgerald.
Right, so I go back to 1984 when I was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. I had never played golf in my life. And I was asked to play in a celebrity golf tournament called the Long Island Charities Golf Tournament out on Long Island. I said, well, I've never played. I'll be more than happy to play, but tell the people, whoever I go with, that I'm not very good. So the guys that were running that tournament called this one guy, Timmy O'Brien. Don't know him from Adam. He's a Long Island basketball player. He played at St. Agnes, he was great. Played at Hartwood College, he was great. And he picked me over Paul Blair. Remember Paul Blair?
Paul Blair, Baltimore Orioles.
Yes.
Yankees also.
Right, and Paul was he was already established professional player. I was a rookie coming out of Maryland. People in Long Island knew who I was, and he was a Long Islander. So Timmy picked me over Paul Blair as his celebrity for that celebrity golf tournament.
Oh, nice.
Back in June of 1984. And Timmy O'Brien became one of my best, if not my best friend ever in the world. And I try to make it down here once a month to be reminded of what happened on September 11, 2001. And I wanted to show you Timmy O'Brien's name on one of the pools here, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
So all of these guys right here are all the guys that were on the 105th floor. And there's Timothy Michael O'Brien right there. You see that?
I like how they did this. This is a nice touch. I guess they don't turn the pool on.
They turn it on when it gets a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful what happened and how they remembered all the names, I think.
The hatred you had of the Heat, and you won that big game in Miami, Game 5.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that like?
Well, yeah, I mean, you go back into the 97, 98 series, we always faced each other. And they were like, you know, I always look at it like they were like, you know, playing against your brother, right? You know each other, you fight each other, you kill each other. And because you know each other so well, and we knew each other so well, so it made up for that much more intense of a matchup. So, you know, going back into that series, you know, you had 5 games, and you came down to that 5th game, and we always felt like we had a little bit of a psychological advantage. That's the way we felt. That's what we believed, and so we never felt like we were out of a game.
As an Oriole fan, I mean,
now you're still an Oriole fan because I know you're a big Washington guy.
Yeah, but
you never went over to the Nationals when they came?
No, because see, I was too young for the Senators and I was too old for the Nationals, and so I grew up with the Orioles, and so I'm like you. I'm not going to abandon my team. Like people say, you should just root for somebody else. Like that would be like if somebody said to you, "Oh, you should just root for the Yankees." You'd be like, "I can't root for the Yankees." You can't just put on a new hat. You're a grown man.
I've done the switch recently in basketball because, first off, the Nets left me.
That's fair.
They left me. The last I spent 10 years of basically not caring about basketball. They made me care again by signing these 3 players.
How'd that go?
It was drama, nothing but drama, and made me resent the Nets. Then I went to the Barclays Center, and the arena is terrible. They should have stayed in New Jersey, and you know they
Barclays
left me
is a
when
bad
they left.
arena?
Oh, it is.
Why?
It's kind of dark in there. It's dank. It's just like there's no like charm. There's no energy to it. It's
okay.
They missed.
So you're a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Go Knicks, go.
Yep. Now what do you do? I know you do a lot of stuff for Indiana.
Yeah, at home in Evansville, we start our foundation is basically trying to help the most underserved kids in the toughest neighborhoods. and it started off, to be honest with you, with a lot of sports, right? You know, baseball, athletic things, which I feel like I learned a lot of lessons from, and it was really good. But I think over time, it's really went to education.
Oh yeah, that's good.
You know, reading programs, STEM labs, just trying to help out. We're a pretty small foundation actually, but we're trying to be more of a bridge because there's a lot of nonprofits out there doing things. But we always, I think Lori and myself, we look at it like we want to help the kids that the most underserved, right? And give them a chance because there's a lot of talent in those areas. It's unbelievable. These kids are brilliant.
It really is about directing them to find the best avenues to direct their energies instead of negative and bad things that might happen. Because I agree completely doing with sports. I think that especially like in the worst areas, you need to get as many fields. I mean, all these broken apart empty lots, turn it into a field. Put up more basketball courts. Make rinks for roller hockey, ice hockey. Get people to learn touch football, tackle football, soccer, anything, any athletic endeavor. Put them in clubs, put them in different things, just so they get involved.
100%. Not just, I mean, sports, great, but anything, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Engage them.
And give them more than anything, I think it's choices.
Yeah.
You know, so hopefully they know they have choices. You know, you may be an electrician, right?
Yeah.
And make a good living, a solid living, and be able to have afford a home and everything like that.
As bad as it might seem like a terrible job, but plumbers, they make.
That's what I mean.
They make
So I think
great money.
there's all different avenues. It's not just sports. I love sports from the standpoint of team, you know, and you have to learn to, you basically learn to fail.
Yeah.
Right? You're getting your butt kicked out there, and then you have choices like, hey, do I want to do that? Do I want to keep working? You know, you have to make choices in that area.
New York there's nothing like New York City.
Especially this area, because it's built on the back of thousands and thousands of people who rebuilt it, thousands and thousands of people who died, not only on that very fateful day, but over the last 20 years that have continued to die because of all
the toxins.
Right.
Yeah,
cancers, everything, you name it.
Yeah, our fabulous government. Oh, it's fine to breathe the air.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that was not the case, but people had to be down here to rebuild this.
Of course, and the volunteers that are down here just handing out supplies.
Yes.
I like the actor Steve Buscemi, who basically is a retired fire officer, came down and helped the rescue effort.
I love LeBron, but let me tell you, here's the difference, and people got to understand this. Okay, and I saw Michael Jordan break in college. I saw him every day he played. Michael Jordan didn't have a competitive drive. He burned white hot, okay? It was winning or dying. There was nothing else. He wanted to destroy you. He wanted to, this is what he wanted to do. He didn't want to win the game or score 40 points. He wanted to take your will away. He wanted you by the second quarter to say, I can't play against him. We can't win. I can't cover him. We can't win. That's what he always sought out. Even in college, he sought out the best player. When he went to practice the first day at Carolina, what did he do? He took on James Worthy because he always wanted to take on the best and already take his will away and prove he was the best. Nobody has ever, that I've ever seen, has had that drive. He had a level of competition that people don't go to, and that's why nobody compares to him, because it was living and winning or dying. That's how he felt. And he wanted to own you. And Van Gundy used to tell the Knicks, don't talk to him before the game. He wants you to be his friend. He wants you to say, wow, Michael Jordan talked to me, so he could go out and rip your lungs out on the court. And that was part of his game plan. He was the ultimate competitor. LeBron doesn't have that gear. LeBron is a versatile talent and a body the likes of which we have never seen in the NBA.
Top 4 all time, no doubt. But
and multi-positioned, and is a talent the likes of which I don't think we've ever seen in a body that size. He's played 20 years at a top level. He's been unbelievable, but he does not burn like Michael Jordan burns. Nobody burns like Michael Jordan burns.
Hey, they had...
I think that's for you guys.
I mean, it's a Corvette. I mean, if it was a Lamborghini, I'd give him a shout out, but it's a Corvette. It's probably a rental too. Anyway, so no offense to the Corvette. I like Corvette, but I don't know if I'd be blowing myself up on a Friday afternoon, interrupting a crazy interview here with Frank. Like, I wouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? And it's like a teal green too. It's not even like
not
a
even
black.
a good looking color.
It's not.
It
not.
looks like the Kraken uniforms.
Ooh, I'm also not hating. I'm not hating on the Corvette because I like Corvettes, but you know what I mean? It's got to be like a Ferrari or something like that. Anyway,
where's our schedule taking the PLL this year?
So going back to that stat around why most sports leagues fail is they create more supply than there is demand. So when we started the PLL, there were 15 million lacrosse fans, according to MRI Simmons, the report that ESPN runs. Now there are 46 million, so we're starting to build it. When we first started, our teams weren't tied to cities and we were touring. We felt like touring like the PGA or like F1 or UFC is best for the fans, it's best for the business, it's best for the players. And frankly, the network just has to go to one location to produce and distribute all 4 games. This stage that we're in now with teams in cities is phase 2. Where we're touring still, but going to the home markets of each of our teams. phase 3 might be, okay, we then go to a home and away model, potentially team owners.
Well,
You know, but-
I first liked the Dolphins because the TV show Flipper. They went to a Super Bowl.
Yes, yes.
They beat the Jets to go to Super Bowl 17. They lost, broke my heart.
Right.
John Riggins.
John Riggins, of course.
John Riggins. But then then they draft Dan Marino, and here you got an Italian wearing number 13. My birthday is November 13th. I always liked the number 13, and it was just, I'm a Dan Marino fan. And I stayed a Dolphin fan forever.
So are you, everybody obviously ranks like, well, he doesn't have a ring, so they knock him down so far.
It was such a different sport back then.
Yeah.
It was such a different sport.
Because he throws for 6,000 yards probably in today's NFL, right?
He threw for 5,000 yards.
Right, back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He set the records, and the records weren't broken until years later. He's the one he shattered the records in '84.
Right.
Shattered the
Look
records.
at us. We're like kind of sneaking into a club right now. Look at us.
The Mets have, let me explain what it's like to be a Mets fan. They are the ultimate tease. I say that the Mets are always teasing, never pleasing.
Yeah?
That they give you false hope, and then they rip your heart out like the guy from Indiana Jones, and then they laugh at you. They have the heart in their hand, and they're laughing at you.
Right.
As they rip the heart out of your chest every single year.
And they show it to you?
Yes.
Is it still beating?
Yes.
That sucks.
That's what it's like to be a Mets fan.
Probably not the greatest thing to get involved with the boss's wife.
No, it wasn't.
That in fact, when I first saw the script, actually even before that, I remember being at an HBO party, and right before the 4th season, I from the corner of my eye, I see Edie Falco come in with one of our producers, Eileen Landris, and she gets my attention. Says, "Federico, this next season it's me and you." I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome, man!" Because I think she's an incredible actor. And then when I thought about it, I'm like, "Oh my God, wait a minute, me and you? That's the boss's wife. That's not such a great idea." In any event, I loved the moments we had together. I loved, the connection that Edie and I had in those scenes. In fact, there was one time that we had to reshoot one of those scenes where I was, Furio was building the thing for the garage for his mother to come in, right? And so there was a dog barking relentlessly throughout our whole scene. We had to rebuild that scene on the set. A lot of people don't know this. The moments inside, those were all reshot on the set at Silver Cup Studios. So, so when we finished doing that scene, the connection was so strong that I had never experienced this before. There was an applause at the end of our scene.
Did you love going to Penn State?
Loved everything about it. It was truly. So I was originally committed to Rutgers. Rutgers was my first scholarship that I ever got. They kind of offered me off a JV football film. So when they offered me, I was just in my mind, I'm like, I just got a Division I offer, and I never even started at running back yet in varsity. So I committed. I got to go to a Penn State Michigan game. It was when Hack was there, Allen Robinson was there. They beat Michigan in like a 3 or 4 overtime game thrillers, a whiteout. It was like my first experience, and I was like, wow, this place is truly amazing. I didn't decommit yet. When Coach Franklin came, I ended up committing with Franklin and going there. But the memories, the moments that I've had at Penn State, is so special. And anytime, I meet anybody that go to Penn State, we all say the same thing. You feel like, when you talk you're biased, but I played in, Michigan, I played in Ohio State, and no disrespect to those guys, they have great places too, but there's nothing like a whiteout in Beaver and State College. It's words can't even describe it.
So we created a version that we thought would increase the parity of play, where everyone has the same stick size. It's 5-on-5 on the field, goalie each, and the other thing that's important to the Olympics is head count. That's why you see a lot of new sports that are individual sports introduced, because it just costs less money. You can have 12 countries participating, 2 athletes per country, 24 heads you got to pay for. In team sports, it's 24 players on a team. 12 teams gets really expensive. So that was also figuring out how to make the math work to get lacrosse back into the Olympics and build an exciting game that's competitive across the world.
You're 30, or you won the King Clancy Award?
Yep, King Clancy. One of the cool things about coming to New Jersey was figuring out what I was going to do from a philanthropic standpoint, because I always like to try to do something in every city that I play in. And starting the Blue Line Buddies program was awesome. In Nashville, and being able to bring it to New Jersey and Blitz, and David Blitzer, Josh Harris, Allison Blitzer, they embraced the program. And, you know, I don't know, I've been actually talking to them a little bit, so I think I'm going to be doing more stuff in New Jersey actually for the Devils.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, of course. I would, they treated me, one thing I'll say to everybody in New Jersey, like you guys treated me so well when I was there. As much as it was tough losing, I'm not a good loser. But I was on a young team and I had to set a good example for those guys. So, you know, that was different, you know.
New York City and Central
There's nothing
Park.
like New York City.
It
really is,
cool.
especially Central Park. Central Park is all inspired. Oh, you know, some of the architecture these days, I don't know about that building.
I don't know if I want to be in the top of that building, right?
They say when it's a windy day, that building sways. I would not want to. And I hear that place, it's like $60,000 a month, or maybe even more than that, to rent an apartment in that place. It's like incredible. It's like, and then you got some of these, like around here, you got some like $1 million apartments and penthouses that are like, the rich and famous all live there.
You can see these are my guys right here in the bottom half. I play with all these guys on the bottom half and some even on the top. So these are my guys I got to play with. Devin Jason McCourty, Mike Burr was a little bit after me. Deron Dudu, Logan Ryan, Tim Wright, Jonathan Freeney, Alex Silvestro. Those are all my guys, man. It's crazy to see how we started all the way back here.
Howard, he had a great career.
In the 70s, yeah, of course, with the New York Giants, walk-on, became a captain, and then obviously winning Super Bowls as well. Isaiah Pacheco, what he's been able to do, 2 Super Bowls. So yeah, we have our lineage here. May not be like Alabama, but tell you what, you get a Rutgers football player on the NFL roster, you know you're going to get it. You're going to get it. And we do well.
They do work their ass off.
We're always prepared.
Special thing I started when I was in college, so it's I believe we're in 37 or 38 states across the country now. We've donated like $7 million. It's been. New York, New Jersey? We've done New York, we've done New Jersey. Yeah, we're all over the place. It's pretty cool. It's crazy. I started in college because of Myron Rolle when he was at Florida State. You remember Myron Rolle?
Yeah.
He was a Rhodes Scholar and he started a charity when he was in college. And I remember.
He's a surgeon now, isn't he?
Yeah. And so they did a story on him on College Game Day about his charity when he was in college, and I was like, I didn't even know you could start a charity when you're in college. So that's what made me start mine, and it's been a really cool experience.
So whether it's 150, 200, you choose, but we'll fundraise.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Big milestone.
Thank you.
JJ Watt Foundation,
Thank you.
maybe working the Boston.
I appreciate that.
It's exploded beyond belief.
Well, how about what's exploded beyond belief? How about they tell me you're like a rock star wherever you go. You go to the game, what do? You got autographs, you sign, you're doing voiceovers, you're doing personal appearances. You've become a rock star. Tell me, how has it changed your life? How does it feel to be now Frank the Tank, the sports celebrity?
It's crazy.
You like it?
Yeah, I do like it.
Do you embrace the public?
Yeah, I do. I appreciate all my fans.
You sign all the autographs,
I sign all the autographs.
Take the pictures. You got to do that. You got to do that.
And you know, one of the things is I have people like every Christmas send me their address, and I send out the Christmas cards. I send about 200 Christmas cards out every year.
Very nice.
Where are you at with your journey right now?
Well, I've been doing it now 6 months. This is walk 191. No, 192. 192. And I've lost 50 pounds since August.
That's amazing.
I mean, the heaviest I ever was over 500 in 2016. And I've gone up and down between 360 and 450 for the last 5 years. But now I'm finally down to 333. Lowest I've been in years. I've gone from a size 69 belt to this size 50, being able to squeeze in a 56.
Have the walks gotten easier?
Yes, they have. I did a walk in Northern Virginia on a historic battlefield, Civil War battlefield.
Wow.
And a lot of hills, and I probably couldn't have done that 3 months ago.
That's why I picked up hockey, because I think it's the greatest game. I think it takes so much skill, so much heart, and so much desire to make it.
I couldn't
to the
skate.
NHL level, to the NHL.
I couldn't skate.
Yeah.
I would. I don't have any balance. Maybe I have a little bit better balance now, but growing up I didn't have any balance.
You don't have any balance? That's hard for me to believe.
Growing up I didn't have any balance.
Right.
So what did you even think, though, not that you're some big Nets fan, but what did you think when the Nets moved from Jersey to Brooklyn? Was that just
I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it.
I'm a Brooklyn kid, and I was like, wait, what?
To tell you the truth, for 10 years I almost lost interest in the NBA.
10 years? You went that long? Like where it was like waning interest?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know much. All I know is that I went to one last Nets game, the last game in New Jersey. That was the last game I went to with the Nets. I didn't go to the Barclays Center until after the pandemic.
Right.
The first time I went to the Barclays Center. The Nets then had that foolish trade where they got the old folks home from Boston and basically stocked the Celtics. Because that's how they got Tatum and Brown from the draft picks in this asinine trade.
Yeah. Yes.
So their last years in Jersey were so bad. One year they started 0-18. They were a lame duck franchise. So it was like 10 years I didn't care. And then they friggin' reeled me back in with Durant and Irving.
They got you with that old little.
And then when they just made it just all about drama, all the pain, all the suffering, all the whining, every day Kyrie Irving's causing some trouble. And then when that broke up, I was like, that's it. I am done with them. I can't take them anymore. They left New Jersey. I can't. And I declared myself a fan free agent, and the Knicks, through Jenks, recruited me, and that's how I became a Knicks fan. Question: why do you hate my team so much?
Why do you think I hate your team so much? What happened? I have a theory. Is it possible that the Mets lost, and then SportsCenter started, and I was there, and maybe I was smiling to try to welcome in the audience, and in that moment,
you know what it is?
You're like, he hates my team.
You're the messenger. I'm the king.
Yeah.
And you don't have the messenger delivers bad news.
Yeah. I swear to you, I don't hate your team. I don't hate the Devils. I don't hate the Mets. I don't. I don't expect you to believe me.
The Mets have tormented me. The soldier who came over from Naples.
That's right. Yep.
And you fell hard for Carmela because Carmela was always.
Maybe she fell hard for me too.
Yeah. Well, Carmela loved flirting. She was
exactly.
She was like the. She knew she was playing a dangerous game, and she liked it.
Yep.
The first season, it was always with the priest.
That's right. Yeah.
And she knew she was playing a dangerous game. My favorite thing is the contractor.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah,
what was his name? He was a well-known actor back in the
Joe Perry.
80s.
Joe Perry. Yeah, he was a.
No, not Joe Perry. It was Joe something else. Joe Perry's the guitarist from Aerosmith.
I thought it was Joe Perry because he was in Jake and the Fat Man and Riptide. I remember those TV shows he was on.
Okay, I think it's another name anyway.
But I always liked this. I always liked that he wanted to as soon as the floating happened, he went running.
Yep.
He got out there because he didn't want anything part of that.
That's right.
He was smart. He was probably one of the smartest people on that show.
Say the same vice versa to you guys. If you guys ever need anything, I'll be down and willing to help. My foundation's called the Saquon and Michael Land Hope Foundation. And, a lot of people have one specific thing that they focus on, whether it's breast cancer or whether it's, homelessness, whether it's, we kind of do it all. That's something that me, my mom, my dad, Alberta, we really focus on. It's really more focused on in the youth because I'm a real big believer in that the youth is our future. So really trying to make an impact on them and just whatever we can do, whether it's homeless, whether it's, you know, we work with so many organizations throughout the year. I've been blessed to be a Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee twice, you know, and coming close to winning both times. But that's what I really believe in. I stand for giving back to my community because this football thing is cool. The fame thing is cool. But the thing that's going to last a long time is the memories and the moments you're able to create for other people, the way you're able to impact your community. And, you know, that's something that I want to continue to do and going to continue to get better at, too.
It's beautiful. Because I know it's.
And then there is the indoor league, the National Lacrosse League.
Yeah.
Now, how does that differ from outdoor lacrosse and traditional lacrosse?
So think of it as soccer, right? At least in America. We see UEFA, the Champions League, Premier League, MLS, La Liga. That's all 10-on-10 outdoor. And then you have arena football or indoor soccer, which is a different version. Smaller field, indoors, 5-on-5, fast pace, exciting. That's not for every soccer fan, but it is for many. Indoor lacrosse sort of feels that way. It's indoors, it's 5-on-5, shorter version, a lot of action. But lacrosse, the genesis of lacrosse was always on the field. It was created by Native Americans thousands of years ago, sometimes played on fields that stretched for miles with hundreds of people on each side, no time constraints. Indoor lacrosse started in Canada because it's so goddamn cold there. And they have all these amazing ice rinks. So they decided in the summer, when the ice wasn't there, to use that surface to play what they call box lacrosse.
The Blue Line Buddies program.
Yep.
Describe it for me a little bit.
So I started that program when I was in Nashville, and a lot of it was because, you know, I don't know, I'm not a divisive guy, Frank. I try to bring people together. I try to build bridges in communities and always try to find a solution to issues. That's just how my mind's wired. So, you know, I don't really see much else. I just see, like, what's the problem? How do we fix it? What's the solution? And then how do we pull everybody into it so that everybody can share this, right? And be a part of it, because that's what it's about.
Yep.
And so for me, when I started Blue Line Buddies program, I said, I'm leaving Montreal. I did this huge thing with the hospital. You know, I'm probably not going to do another huge thing because I have that commitment that I want to fulfill and continue to work with. So I'm going to do something that may not be on the scale of a donation to a hospital, but could be more impactful than what I'm doing at the hospital. And I thought about it, and at that time, you know, there was the election. There was a lot of tension, and in the United States, I was also moving to Nashville. It was my first time in my life living in the United States. I had visited the United States, never lived there. So I was 25, 26, getting traded in Nashville, going to the South, and all this turmoil is going on. I mean, Colin Kaepernick's kneeling, you know, people not standing for the national anthem. I'm a Canadian guy. My mom's worried. Everybody, and I'm like, Mom, I'm going to play hockey. Nashville could not have been any better than what it was for me. It was, the people in the South were so nice and so beautiful and so gracious. And I get there, and I remember I had to answer questions about it. And I said, you know what? Like, I'm going to get tickets to every home game, 4 tickets, and let's bring law enforcement, underprivileged youth. We'll go to the team, we'll have them get a program or find a program where we can actually be able to pull some underprivileged youth out of it, bring them to a game, have them experience what it's like to be at Bridgestone Arena for one night, and do it with law enforcement officers. Because growing up, law enforcement officers, like, we had names like 5-0, Control-O, and the whole thing is in school is like you're not supposed to talk to the police. Like, it's like a stigma, like you got to be afraid of the police, like you don't talk to them. And I'm like, well, what if we can get rid of that stigma and get people comfortable around law enforcement officers and get law enforcement officers comfortable around these kids? Because that's how you change it.
They put me behind the plate.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Well, you always put the fat kid behind home plate.
So tell me, how many pounds again you've lost?
At my worst, I was over 500 pounds.
Holy cow, Frank.
And that was like 2016. I had an illness. I had MRSA. I got through that, and I think that knocked about 70 pounds off me.
Okay.
I got under 400, and then the pandemic hit. And the pandemic, I shot up to about 450 again.
Okay.
Started walking a little bit back then. Got back down under 400. Got as low as about maybe 360. And then I just made some bad habits and got back up to 383 last August.
Okay.
And starting in September, started walking. And now this is 199 straight walks. And my last weigh-in, I weighed 333. Bill Belichick's philosophy is always do your job.
Yeah.
And that feels like that same philosophy is here.
That's why him and Coach Shiano get along so well with each other. And, when they get together in the offseason, they're sitting down talking ball. But it's about the philosophy of do your job and the demand that Coach Shiano used to put on us. If you don't do your job and you're that one person that messes up a play, it messes up the entire thing. And it just emphasizes that over and over again. Let's just say, Frank, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. So Bill Belichick kind of has that same philosophy as well. We see like Nick Saban's of the world as well.
If you could be the emperor of sports for one day, what's the first thing you want to change?
The first thing I want to change from the emperor of sports?
Yeah, one day. You're in charge. Anything, your first wish is granted. What do you want to do away with?
What do I want to do away with?
Or add, whatever you want to do.
Is this wanting a team to win?
Oh, so your first thing is you want a Met World Series, is that it? Or would it be a Dolphins Super Bowl? If you can only get one wish, which is it? Is it a Met World Series victory or is it a Dolphins Super Bowl? Which is it?
I think it's because baseball's my first love, the Mets.
So where does your allegiance, let me ask you a hypothetical. The Dolphins, the Devils, and the Mets all play at the same time on the same day. Where's your priority lie?
Well, it probably had to be Dolphins because the NFL season's so compact and short.
Okay.
And then Mets will probably be second, Devils third. Just the overlap in baseball and hockey isn't that much. But if it's a Devils playoff game, I'll choose that over the Mets. And if it's a Mets playoff game, I'll choose that over the Devils. After you retired from, you became like a hockey player.
Yes, I did. Yes, I picked it up when I was 37 years old, believe it or not. And I'm still playing today.
I remember I went to one of the Mikey Strong games.
Yeah, it was a great game, and I was a little slow on the ice, but still, nonetheless, had a great time.
I mean, of course, going to the NYPD game. The FDNY, that is a legitimate hockey team.
Well, it's a legitimate physical game, too. You talk about those guys. No, I've actually been invited to play with those guys, and I will not get on the ice with them. I will not get on the ice with them. I'm not about checking nowadays. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stay upright.
Oh, so you're kind of like the Devils.
What do you got there?
What? Oh, yeah, I just picked up cannolis.
Oh, nice.
These are the minis.
All right, Frank.
Well, it's good that we already left it gone, so we took the cannolis.
Yeah, we need Omerta actually take the cannoli coffee, so flavored coffee.
Oh, that sounds like a
These
good
would
one.
Go, yeah, you got to try that one. This would go great with this. We got to find the cannoli cream out. That's probably in the refrigerated section.
What's your worst conditioning? It was 100, the 102, or the weather on the highway, or the fever?
The highway was scary because those trucks got pretty close to.
The dark woods?
Yeah, the dark woods.
Explain that one.
Yeah, we couldn't find a place to walk coming back from Chicago. The first place we stopped was next to a shooting range. So I did not want to be walking in the woods behind a shooting range.
Smart. What's your favorite place to walk? I mean, don't get me wrong, we're in a beautiful neighborhood in New Jersey, but I could assume There's probably some other.
The weather was kind of cruddy, at least for the second half of it, but walking alongside the Grand Canyon.
Okay. Wow. All right, what's one spot that you haven't walked yet that you want to walk?
Well, there's more than one spot, but I could tell you one good spot would be overlooking Mount Rushmore would be a great one.
Okay.
Let me see, I did the Vegas Strip. You want to talk about dichotomy? I did the walk along the Grand Canyon one morning, and the next night I walked the Vegas Strip. I mean, both majestic in equal ways, but so diametrically opposed. Totally opposite. You couldn't get more different.
That's the challenge. Like, how can you sustain? You know, there's a stat that since 1990, 200 sports leagues have formed with a 1% success rate. And the success rate is based on, can you have a season after your third? Most leagues fold. Even American Alliance Football League, XFL, they all turn over because it's so hard to sustain. And credit to Jake and the MLL, they sustained for 20 years.
It's fun that we're getting to walk with people like you. I mean, Don Mattingly. I mean, I'm a Mets fan, but of course, you were the Yankees to me.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Dave, although, funny enough, even though I was a Met fan, I kind of tried to copy the Dave Winfield swing. That, when I was out in the backyard with the wiffle ball bat. I just like the way Dave Winfield swung the bat.
Talk about a unique dude, right? What do you think? He got drafted in all three sports?
Yeah, he got drafted.
Baseball, basketball, and football.
He got drafted by 3 teams in 4 leagues.
Tremendous person,
4 leagues
too.
in 3 sports. Because he also got drafted in the ABA.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you
Learned something today. I will say this with Dave, and I've told this story a few times, but during the batting title race, you know, I was a rookie and Dave was, you know, a veteran guy.
That was...
I mean, it was fun. For me, it was like pretty stressful at all. I was not really stressed over that at all. You're in the big leagues for the first time and you're doing well.
Yeah, 84.
But Dave handled that. He treated me so good during that. I have so much respect for the way Dave handles himself, not only himself, but the way he treated me.
That NIL deal. Do you think Rutgers one day could maybe find a way to become a top 10 program?
I'll tell you, shit is hard. It is hard with the NIL. Obviously, you see these big schools, you go down south where there's nothing but football. All these companies are throwing their money at that. So we're up here where we have how many different professional teams up here, and it's just a ridiculous.
There's
it's
9.
hard.
There's
it's
9.
Hard.
There's 9 in New York and New Jersey.
It is hard to fight for dollars, but guess what? The proof is in the pudding. If you put the product on the field, you get the players doing the right thing.
That's been
people
always
will
the
come.
struggle. That's been the struggle for
Yes.
anyone.
But if you get the right players here, back in 2006, when that time when Coach Shiano's first go around here, there was nothing like being on that field. I was a junior in high school, got to storm the field for Pandemonium and Piscataway. I wasn't going anywhere else. I'm like, there's no way I'm leaving this
I
state.
remember in those days, Rutgers was using James Gandolfini a lot.
Yeah.
To get
James Gandolfini woke up this morning, got yourself a dub,
to
baby.
get players here. It was like join the Rutgers family. It was always like he got heavily involved.
All your guys. We even had your boy David Wright on the sideline for some of those games back in the day when it was like Celebrity Row.
So
I tried.
I watch you watch these sporting events, and I watch you take your glasses and absolutely destroy them.
Yeah.
I'm guessing these. I mean, how many glasses have you gone through? Or are these things just bulletproof and like?
Oh no, I've
20 glasses you get out of.
I've got a whole bag
machines.
of broken glasses. I'm thinking of selling them to some fans. I've been giving them to fans. I got a shopping bag of broken glasses, and I'm glad that there's a certain glass company that exists.
Yeah.
I'll mention it, Zenny. I'm glad they exist. This maybe they can sponsor me.
I'm more of a Shady Rays guy, and just so you know, if you have no sunglass deal, Shady Rays actually has the cheapest polarized sunglasses. I know that you have prescription. I do not. So, but like they're you can tear them up, and guess what? You can also just get a free pair if you say you lost them or destroyed them because the Mets gave you another excruciating loss.
Let's hold on for 1 second.
Guys.
1 second. We got a guy throwing haymakers over there for no reason.
He's shadowboxing. He's shadowboxing.
You don't know what we're going to run into. You want to say hello to that guy?
No, I think staying away from him is probably a wise call.
Yes.
That's why you're the quarterback.
That's exactly why I'm the quarterback. Stay away from people that just don't seem to be stable for whatever reason.
Yeah, stay away from the...
But that's the things, that's the thing that you run into in New York all the time.
As time goes on, of course, some great actors pass on along. Of course, James Gandolfini's is no longer with us. Tony Sirico, Paulie Walnuts, who, by the way, I think for all the people on there, I think Paulie Walnuts might have been the best character. Just like all his eccentricities, his superstition.
He's hilarious. Yeah.
I mean, he was just. There's always something with him. It's just crazy with him.
Well, Tony really lived the life, so I mean.
Yeah.
He was a
that's
bit,
the crazy thing about it.
So he was really a great actor, and I loved his work. I really loved him. Miss him too. Great guy.
Yeah. Broadcasting cable, I think, has another decade or so, especially related to sport. It's hard to predict with AI and technology how, sports fans will continue to evolve. I think the NFL is canary in the coal mine. They can change everything because their audience and demand is so big. But there's nothing quite like broadcasting cable because it introduces the sport to new fans. I mean, think about lead-in programming for Seinfeld and others. They give you a primetime spot to try and hold an audience that's already there. That's what's beneficial to us when we're on ABC, is we come on after the College World Series, after the French Open, after the NBA playoffs. We get access to 1 million sports fans that can decide if they want to stay on and watch.
And I think you use the word forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
What a great word, right? Because I think in this world we hold so many grudges and we get mad about something, and forgiveness, man, is just such a powerful word and powerful thing. If you can forgive people that have felt done you wrong or said bad stuff, but also stuff that may be in your life, right? You got to forgive yourself at times, right? So that's a cool thing.
It's always been tough for the New York team. So if you were to forecast this upcoming season for Rutgers, what do you think would be a good season for them? Last year they won a bowl game. They had the 6-6 season, won a bowl. What would be this year's goal?
So a lot of people are saying the over-under of their wins this year is 6.5. I'm going to go on the high end. I'm going 9 wins this year. I looked at the schedule, and I really believe that if everything goes right, obviously injuries and that shit, but I really believe that Rutgers can get 9 wins this year, and I'm going to put it right there out there to the world to see. I don't care what you say. You can fight me on it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to say 9 wins for this Scarlet
So
Knight
9
program.
wins for Rutgers. You heard it here first from Eric LeGrand.
Well, Frank, there's one thing I wanted to give you before you leave. I know you're going to do a lot of walking, so we got with the folks at Nike. We have the Forrest Gump waffle shoes here.
Oh,
that
nice.
he ran across the country many times, and so we got your size, and maybe you can make use of them in future
beautiful.
walks. Okay.
Beautiful.
You just gonna argue with me the whole time?
No, but I mean, you know how Devil fans are.
Yes.
I put it this way, I'll trade our 3 cups for that one.
All right. Well, I understand. You might want to just stick it in my face, but that's okay.
You know, of course, they got a nice little one of your murder.
We got some popcorn if you want to.
Plenty of knives. Oh yeah, good. I know. We probably should have got a cart.
To watch your reruns of Sopranos. Hello, plenty of popcorn. COVID did this for us. We all got together in front of the TV set. 3 or 4 generations, Frank. So a couple of generations started to watch Sopranos again. Your children started to.
That's right. Yeah,
right?
my son started watching it now too. Yeah. 15. Yeah, totally.
He wasn't old enough.
Wasn't even born when it was.
Well,
I don't even remember what channel Major League Lacrosse was on, if he was on a channel or anything like that.
No, it wasn't. They decided to, at the time, because of OTT services streaming. They were like, hey, instead of paying a network, which is our business called a time buy, instead of paying a network to have and distribute our games, why don't we bring on our own producers and we put it behind a paywall and we monetize against every head that watches? And they built Lax Sports Network. So essentially you're shrinking the audience. You know, to this day, people go, oh, what happened to boxing? You know, it's too confusing.
They put it behind pay-per-view.
Bingo. It used to be on ABC.
ESPN used to have Friday Night Fights. Tuesday used to be on ABC on USA Network.
And it's been lucrative for the business. The athletes get paid well, the top ones. But the sports exposure has lost out. And now MMA is the fight sport of popularity.
And even though they have like their main events on pay-per-view, ESPN has those, the first 2 hours, the undercard is always on.
And like for me, you're inspiring. I'm sure you're inspiring. I'm not a big social guy, so I don't know what's going on out there, to be honest with you, in that world. But you got to be inspiring people, man, and keep going.
Well, thanks.
You have a goal you're going further? I mean, is there just kind of keep walking and keep...
Just keep walking. I'm setting small goals. It's like my next goal is 325 pounds. And then you set a next goal.
All
then
right.
You set that goal. You just...
I like it.
You don't go... I think you don't try to climb Mount Everest. You try to climb Pikes Peak first.
Get to the base camp first, right?
Yeah. You try to get to Pikes Peak first.
Do we have any great teams in the tri-state area right now?
Not that I see.
Oh, so the Rangers aren't a great team. You're biased. You are so biased.
You're gonna get the kiss of death. You gotta get the kiss of death.
What's the kiss of death? The President's Trophy?
The President's Trophy.
We may not get that. We could still lose that. We don't care about that.
Yeah, I tell you what, if the Devils were in the position the Rangers were in.
Hey guys.
If the Devils were in the position the Rangers were in, I'd root against them just to lose 1 or 2 games so they don't get the President's Trophy.
Right.
Even though the Rangers actually did win the President's Trophy and the Cup in '94.
Yeah.
But
it happens. It happens. I know. Everybody says it's a kiss of death. It's a bad omen.
It's become a curse.
It's not a curse.
The Bruins last year.
You know, it's all about health and a hot goalie, right?
Yeah. And you know who the hottest goalie ever was?
The hottest goalie ever was Martin Brodeur.
Yes, he was.
You know, it's as I said,
it's open to interpretation.
It's open
Yeah.
to interpretation.
Yes,
Some
yeah.
of the best films are like
I
that. They're
kinda
open to
like-
interpretation.
you know,
everyone wants closure and everything.
I
but
like
it's
the
not-
idea, though, that feeling that the audience that we got by like being worried about the fact, like, is this it? Is he gonna get killed? Oh my God! Like that feeling is the feeling that Tony lived with for the rest of his life. The fact that like you never know, that angst, that like, you know, like having to look over your shoulder feeling. To me, I like that idea as the end. But a lot of people think
the philosophy that Chase first said, which he's changed along the way, is that they go on living and we're not just watching them. That's all.
Right.
That's a good point. I mean,
But I kind of like the open ending that you could you could
You
make
like
your
the
own
open
ending.
ending, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
If you think of it,
I think when it first happened, people really hated it. But I think over the years since it's happened and people have gone to see it grow, that hey, you know, it makes sense. You could interpret it however you want.
What do you think?
You know,
I think this year's Olympic tournament for basketball is going to be one of the toughest ever for the United States, especially playing a good France squad on their own soil.
I think it's still hard for a lot of basketball fans to wrap their head around that because you see Steph, LeBron, KD, Ant, and you're like, no way these guys lose. But European basketball, this goes back to your question, David Stern helping bring international players domestically wasn't about growing revenue and attention. It was about opening up the pipeline to players all around the world
the
to
Dream
play in the
Team
NBA.
did that. The Dream Team did that.
They helped. But when Stern took the NBA over to Asia and doing these exhibitions, the Dream Team brought the vibe. Because the Dream Team played in Barcelona and everyone was like, holy shit, this guy Michael Jordan is the coolest and best thing we've ever seen.
Stay off my boy Vogie. All right? You stay off my boy Vogelbach.
He's in Toronto now, so.
All right.
And maybe he'll forgive me one day. He just drove me nuts as a Mets fan.
I'm sure there's a lot of guys, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of guys that like drive me nuts.
You'd love Vogie. You guys should go on a walk together. You and Vogie should go on a walk and talk.
I'm game for that.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's an awesome dude. He might come out of the hotel right when we walk in.
That would be funny.
So, like, how did you become this big sports, legend that you are right now? You have people working for you. They got people working on you.
Well, it all started with the rant, New Jersey Transit rants.
Okay.
And that basically launched me. I've been hiding in the shadows for years. I mean, I took broadcasting at Montclair State. I just couldn't find a job, and no one would give me a chance. No one would give me a chance.
Yeah.
And then I worked at the courthouse, and I built a website that was around for 20 years.
Okay. What was the website?
It was sportsencyclopedia.com.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you have this understanding of all sports.
Yes. Of course, The Sopranos had the ending, the cut to black, and there's always been theories because it was always kind of left for interpretation. It's always been a lot of fan theories how it ended. I mean, I think now the consensus is that Tony was whacked in Holston's at that day. And that's not become the consensus. And the scene is, one of the people that was there was a guy in the members-only jacket.
Yes.
Who went into the bathroom and came out, and you don't see him come out of the bathroom, but he went to the bathroom just before it cuts to black.
A lot of people say that, Frank, the members-only thing, and I think that Peter Bogdanovich said it best, the director, and he was on the show also with Melfi. He said it there was an open ending. You kind of can interpret it the way you want to do it, but Chase was kind of giving you a cross-section of America in terms of the Boy Scouts and the rappers that were in it, the members-only guy. It never really ends in perpetuity. You're always looking behind your back. And, do you really want to see Tony get murdered in a bloodshed? He's so great, you know what I mean? So, I think he lives the course of his life like Carlo Gambino. That's my theory.
Well, I've heard this theory, and I love this theory, is that Eugene went into a bar wearing a members-only jacket and killed that guy when he's trying to get out, and Tony won't let him out.
Right.
And his wife tells him, why don't you put a bullet in his head?
Yes.
And of course, that was your last episode.
Yes.
You end up hanging yourself at the end of the episode. My theory is, and I've seen this theory, and I heard the theory, and I think it's the greatest theory I've ever heard about how the show ended. That Eugene's widow either went to a brother or a family member wearing Eugene's members-only jacket. And
you make it up.
And had the
you make it up, baby.
And had the or hired a hitman. And it was Eugene's wife that in the end had Tony whacked.
It's a theory,
I think that's one of the greatest fan theories.
Can I come back in a flashback of that? Just so I can have
so
more work?
you think he was killed?
Yes.
Is that your okay?
Yeah, well, I think the hints were there.
When you're building a pro league, the hardest part and why most people fail is that you essentially have to roll out a red carpet and pretend that you've made it before you have. You have to get the fans to believe that when they spend on a ticket, it's going to feel like they're going to a Major League Baseball ballpark.
And now you're trying to get my son-in-law to go to Jersey?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is for me to go to Jersey?
I know you were in my neighborhood once.
Yes, I was.
The Belmont Tavern. That's
exactly
down the street from me.
The Belmont Tavern is one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated Italian restaurants I've ever been in.
I mean, it's legendary.
It is. Well, for you guys over there, for us over here, we've never heard of it. That's the way it works.
Well, I think they invented the chicken Savoy.
Did they really?
That's what their claim is.
Well, I did not have the chicken Savoy, I can tell you that.
Even when we did our ESPN deal, and I grew up having the privilege of playing on ESPNU at Johns Hopkins, which was a big deal for our program, for me. It helped launch my professional career because I was able to build a social media following from it. But it's ESPN University. And so when we cut our deal, I was like, our games can't be on ESPNU because that's where people go to watch college. So there's things there's touch. like that. And of course, they've done an even better job than we could have ever imagined by ABC, ESPN, ESPN2. It's been really frustrating because I spent most of my career playing in a league that no one watched. And
yeah, that was the league that was started by the guy from Body by Jake.
Body by Jake, who, you know, done a phenomenal job with his career. But I think what they were doing at the time was saying, hey, this sport like lacrosse is taking off in America. Let's start a pro league and sort of sit on it as if it's beachfront water property.
I mean, I remember they were actually, weren't they playing games in Montclair State, New Jersey?
Yeah.
Because that was my college, that's my alma mater, and I remember, they're playing a professional lacrosse league here? But why has it had such trouble finding its niche in professionals?
Well, I think every sport has had trouble historically. The NFL really struggled early on with college football being king. The NBA had a really hard time up until the David Stern era of the 80s, and now what Adam Silver's done. Even golf was a college game first. So I think, you know, pro lacrosse has struggled if you go all the way back to the 70s from trying, experimenting, and the reality is we needed better operators, a deeper investment, a network partner. There's this saying in Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner film, that I hate. I like the film, but I hate the saying. It's if you build it, they will come. And that's how professional lacrosse used to be. Let's roll out a league and then everyone's gonna come. No fucking way, it doesn't happen.
Well, I'm just looking forward to seeing the league. I downloaded the PLL app to make sure I'm able to follow along.
Yeah. Shout out to Brendan Coleman. He's our product engineer, and he's built the PLL app in-house. It's really great. People can play fantasy on it. They can follow, they can watch. They can see all the news that breaks.
I mean, look, why are you wearing your Devils shirt? I mean,
I wanted to show you that people care about hockey, Boomer.
Oh, yes, okay. That's good. But why do you say your team's soft?
They just have no grit. There was a game I went to where they only recorded 6 hits.
Okay.
That basically every puck battle they lose. Okay. Every battle in the corner they lose. It's like Jack Hughes is getting beat up every game, but nobody responds. Nico Heischer's had 2 concussions this year, been thrown to the ringer. Nobody responds. These guys.
But isn't that why they traded for McDermott?
That was too late.
Too late. But they also had goalie problems.
Yeah.
You've also had injuries.
Yeah.
You've had defensive problems.
Losing Dougie Hamilton was a backbreaker.
That was it, yeah, because I mean he's the power play.
Dougie Hamilton was the backbreaker.
All right.
And
so
Jack Hughes isn't 100%. Lindy Ruff's a terrible coach.
Well, he's not there any longer.
Nope.
You guys wanted to fire him last year, and then he led you all the way to the playoffs.
Yeah, the problem was that it was Andrew Burnett who was the big reason why, and then he went to Nashville. So, this is the new season in the PLL is getting ready to start.
Yeah.
What are the big things you're looking forward to this season?
Oh man, well number one is we have our 8 teams in home cities for the first time, so you have New York Atlas. And that's new to our league. When we started for the first 5 years, we didn't assign our teams to cities because there was a lot we didn't know as operators. Like, where do we put the teams? There's fans nationwide. So we wanted to learn about our audience. That is going to be so big for us, I think, because sport is really about community and the fans in New York, the fans in Boston, the fans in Carolina and Utah and Denver and California and Philadelphia. So that's going to be awesome, and number one. Number two is we'll have games on television every weekend this summer, like we did last year. ABC, ESPN, ESPN2. All of our games will be on ESPN+, so anyone can watch at any time, anywhere, which is really cool. And then the third is, I would say now that the sport has gotten back into the Olympics, it's supercharged awareness around the game. And there's going to be new fans coming in because we all just know what the Olympics means, and for lacrosse to be back